Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the GeekVerse podcast. I am GeekVerse Jesus Travis Snail, and I'm joined by
Hey, my name is Dylan.
The friendo Taylor Field.
the friendo. Yes, we are back. A little delayed. Usually we do it the night of, but apparently I think other than Dylan, all of us, something happened to us. I got not snowed in, but I was snowed. The game went overtime, but I was snowed quite a bit where I was. So it took a while. Kirkland was just waiting in the wings to say he was sick, and then Taylor didn't say this, but Taylor was like running behind something, so I don't even think he would have made it. So everyone was seeing who's going to play chicken. So blame everyone but Dylan for getting the Super Bowl cast delayed by just a day. But we are here. We're going to be talking about Deadpool 3, of course. We're going to be talking about I guess it's Deadpool 3. Yeah, it's Deadpool 3, right? It's Deadpool 3, new title and stuff. We got Planet of the Apes. We got Inside Out. We got Quiet Place. We got Wicked. We got Knuckles. Lots of good things to talk about. And a few little news about, some very Taylor-centric Predators, Jurassic World.
My episode.
Maybe not. Did you ever see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Taylor?
No, I haven't yet.
Wow,
No.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I just saw because I remember on the Tarantino retro, I think you were just on Django and one other one. You gotta.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't even on any of them because I wanted to be on Django, but I think there was something like I wasn't there from the start, so I wasn't invited for the other ones.
Well, that doesn't make sense. The very first retrospective we ever did, the Batman retrospective, was me with a mix of people. I think that's a narrative that I don't like you throwing out there about Geekverse. Like usually we just like Dylan was on one Jurassic Park and we didn't say like he can't be on the others. I think this was
To an extent, I get it. Like, you don't need to be invited for the way we do it, but
Yeah.
it feels nice to be invited.
true. Yeah, I guess. What is Taylor searching? He's trying to find in the annals of history.
I'm trying to see because I don't remember being on that one.
That was that's 2019. Briggs was still a weekly member at that point because I remember that's one of the last things I think.
Yeah, I'm not there.
Brings
It's
us on.
everyone but me.
Okay, well there
Brutal.
you go. So, we'll have to redo it in 10 years when Tarantino has no new films. We got to redo them, but. Yeah, so lots of good stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff happening on Geek First. Head over to Patreon right now because you get the Golden Geeks episode fully. Next week we will finally be recording the DC EU Golden Geeks. I'm really, you know what? I get it, but I'm having a tough time with this DC EU versus the DCU. I keep slipping up each way. I wish the DC was called something else, but it's fine. But we'll be doing that. And voting for the Marvel one's out. Voting for the other one will be soon because the Golden Geeks, the last tiebreaker's out right now for most anticipated, so that list will be going up. So all the voting for our Oscars, we got 3 of them. Go do that right now, along with additional benefits, ad-free RSS feed, early episodes, exclusive episodes just like this weekend. You'll be getting Battle for the Planet of the Apes and the Twilight retrospective early and ad-free. So that's a very different 2 types of retros, but that's what we go for here is a variety. Yeah, you got SideQuest that Dylan and Taylor just recorded. I'm sure it was juicy because they recorded, so I haven't listened to it yet. But finally, we get to hear Taylor's thoughts on Skulls and Bones, something that's been in the works for not decades, but
One skull.
oh, that'll be a sequel, right? Skulls and Bones.
Skulls
they
and
make
bones,
that?
maybe? They
When
You
they
think it's getting a sequel?
Of course, yeah. I have no doubts in my
7
mind.
years from now.
Yeah, but check out that. Also, in the video game, realm, Halo's out right now. So episode 3, maybe Kirk will be on there. He's been back for like almost a week, but I don't think so. We've not seen him yet, so it could be Shay.
He's still in Disneyland.
Yeah, no, I think it's this time. How Kirkland was killing all these Shay clones and making them. I think Shay finally reversed it on him and figured it out. It's like an ex machina situation, and
Do you
she's
think
killed
there's
him.
Kirkland clones out there, or just one?
That's what I'm saying. The next Kirkland we talk to is a Kirkland clone, and Shay is now trying to figure out the perfect Kirkland formula.
Nice.
We'll have to ask him a question only he would know that we would know and see if he gets it. And I guarantee you he'd get it wrong because it would just be common knowledge.
What would we ask him? Maybe about like his
who was on the
toothbrushing in
Django Unchained
shower
review?
habit.
Yeah.
Without him looking, who was on the Django Unchained retro and was Taylor there? And he'd be like, "Oh yeah, of course." And then be
That
like,
would
"Oh,
work on me.
fraud!"
I mean, I would never remember.
Oh yeah, check that out. And then check out March. Well, you can check out March 15th, but on the feeds, Adrenochrome's second trailer has popped out. March 15th is going to be the date. It's going to be a 4-day rental. It's going to drop on the Friday and be live to like the Monday midnight, because after that we're going to festivals, so we can't have it publicly, but we're letting people that have been asking about it, want to see it, and don't want to wait around for a year. You're going to have a chance to rent it, so look out for that. It's very fun. It's our first film, so yeah, there's a trailer up there. So there's 2 trailers. I don't think there'll be any more trailers for a while because I don't want to reveal too much going going on. There'll be little teasers here and there, but yeah, lots of good stuff. Just subscribe.
What's
head
the
to the website.
runtime of Adrenochrome? Are you still working on the edit? I guess.
I am. It's definitely longer than a short film, which is 40 minutes. But there was a couple cuts. There was one that was 115, but I've cut a lot off it that I thought was a worthy cut. So I'm thinking
Snell cut.
Well, no, there's gonna be no. No, I'm not trying to like dishearten Zack Snyder. I'm just like, I don't feel like it's a cut that I put on. Be like, oh, this is the better version. Like I feel like I'm making the better version. So
you don't have a studio looming over your shoulder telling you to put in more of this or more of that.
That's what we'll do. Actually, this is the PG cut, and then next year you can get the rated R cut. It's at least over 50. I'll say that it's at least over 50.
Nice.
So that's what you can look out for. So yeah, let's get into this. Who wants to bring up that glorious Deadpool and Wolverine trailer as we've gotten that? And I'll just start off. Taylor, what are you feeling about that title? There was a rumor going around that was going to be Deadpool and Friend. Would it be Deadpool 3? Would it be blah, blah? What do you think about just Deadpool and Wolverine? Is that the easy go-to?
Deadpool and Friend is a horrible title. I'm sorry. I don't really like that. Deadpool 3. I mean, it's fitting. I definitely love this title, though. I feel like this just fits with Marvel. The MCU doesn't do their numbers anymore, and it works. So I'm totally game for it.
Yeah, what was the last numbered one? Was it Iron Man 3?
Iron Man? I think Iron Man 3.
I hadn't thought about that they don't do it anymore. Has it really? Season 2? I guess that we
the seasons, yeah. But yeah, they do them so like people will jump on, so they feel. But I think you're right with. I think it's probably Iron Man 3 because I think they'll have subtitles now. Even though it's kind of funny where in a world where you have to watch everything for the MCU, they're trying to be like, well, it's Spider-Man Far From Home, so you could jump on at any point, even though when you jump on Far From Home, it's like Endgame, Tony Stark, like there's all this stuff. So it's kind of funny. This is the franchise that's trying to do the like, don't use numbers so we don't turn people off. But.
Mm-hmm. I'm personally a big fan of the title. This is what I've been wanting it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they nailed it. Also, the logo, too, kind of looks like rusted sort of metal, whatever's going on there. It looks great. So I love it.
His wife, Blake Lively, had a friendship charm at the Super Bowl with the same poster and everything. So,
Oh.
yeah.
That's a sweet poster. I love it.
Oh, wait, I might. I don't have you. I see what you're talking about. You're talking about the title page. Have you seen the actual poster for it, the movie?
I don't think I have. Let me look that up.
So it's a friendship bracelet, but the logos are Deadpool and Wolverine together, and it's like broken in half, like you would do with the
like the best friends hearts.
Yeah.
Combine.
Like that better be. Is that the thumbnail, Taylor, or no?
I was doing a different image for the thumbnail.
Is there even a thumbnail up? Let's take a look here.
there's
No, there's
not
not.
a
It's just a
thumbnail.
picture. The thumbnail right now is me going. Because it just freezes on the most terrible frames, but that's okay. Save that for the movie maybe. But All the Game says was a good teaser trailer, but hope as always for the multiverse movie that is a story and script's very strong and holds up beyond the cameos and great action, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And to me, you go dumb, obvious. Don't do any subcolon. Don't do Deadpool and Friend, which was rumored. Which was probably a fake rumor and stuff. But yeah, Dylan, overall, like we're going to go through this because there's just lots to talk about here. But what do you think about this trailer overall? Obviously very hyped, coming out in July. So we're not really that far away. We just got to get through spring and it's right around the corner. So meet expectations, exceed, lower than, somewhere simmering.
No, I mean, I don't know what I really expected for this, what this first trailer would be. I guess I hadn't thought about that. But from what I expect this movie to be, we talked about this because we did like predictions of what the Super Bowl trailer is going to be, and we were all thinking like, they're probably not going to show too much of this cameo stuff, and they did kind of show one that was an interesting one that stood out. But for the most part, like it makes sense to hide some of that stuff, so it's still exciting. I think the most shocking thing for me was not showing Jackman at all. Like you see the back of his head, but that was the biggest shock to me, and like it doesn't really affect my hype. I know he's going to be in this movie. He's in the title, so obviously he's going to be in it a ton. But that was a really wild choice for me. I feel like you go all out for the Super Bowl trailer and you show Jackman. So that's a very puzzling choice to me, but I don't know.
I was the same thing as you because I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, it's great. You don't need it. Everyone's there. And like they know he's coming. But I still just thought like in a day and age where I feel like more than ever, I think each movie we've talked about this many times, like it's so uncertain what it's going to make, right? 5 years ago, this comes out like, oh, this is an automatic billion, whatever. But last year, there were so many like movies hit that we didn't think would, and then movies that disappointed. Like we're literally a year from the same situation that happened. Flash came out, had Michael Keaton in the teaser trailer. So that could be argument, right? Michael Keaton was in that teaser, didn't didn't help at all. But I just feel like that was the same conversation. Like, oh, Flash is too big to fail. Lots of these people coming back, and it did very poorly. So I don't think Deadpool will do that. I think it has more cachet. I think it's been 6 years. Well, it has been 6 years. I think that people are missing Ryan Reynolds in this role. It's not like when people talk about stuff that's been oversaturated. Somehow I don't think. You have lots of marketing, but I don't think Ryan Reynolds has been oversaturated, right? It's just been those two movies. We never got X-Force or him in the X-Men movies, so that kind of ended up being smart for them. So,
and also, like, there's going to be at least 1 to 2 more trailers, and I guarantee they're going to show Jackman in those too, right? So it's not even like that's going to be part of the whole strategy. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I just feel like if you're going to have 2 more trailers, what are you going to show other than finally get Jackman in there? Maybe they want that to be the big hype one, like right when tickets go on sale or something. But I don't know. I feel like just because of the Super Bowl-ness of this, you start big, and then you can. I don't know what you do for the later trailers, but it doesn't really matter. You just recut the same stuff with a couple new scenes. That's good enough for a movie like this, right?
Yeah, and I wonder too if it's just like it is true that the people when maybe they almost just want that online engagement or SEO, because when they see the clause, if there's anyone that didn't know, I think it's going to drive hype and people are going to go searching, and they're probably going to find those set photos, right, of online of like, and they've publicly released a photo.
Does that sell more tickets though than not having him just in the trailer?
Well, I wonder if they're taking the approach of, because I don't know when it happened, but I feel like with No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, they did that a little bit of like, you heard Xavier, but you didn't see him. Like that seems to be Marvel's MO of confirming and not confirming, where like we're talking about Flash. Last year they did the full like, here's Michael Keaton, he's coming back. So maybe that's their idea of like, hey, when we do this thing, like show you it's there, but we're not going to show you all of it, because that was the whole debate we had with No Way Home, right? Like why didn't they show it? But it worked out. It's like what, the 6th biggest movie of all time, almost $2 billion. So maybe that's their method. Yeah. Like, hey, this worked before. It's almost like it's like on Christmas when you've asked for something and you're pretty sure you got it, but you don't know for sure you got it. So you still got to open up that present, right? Other than like maybe open up a closet and seeing, you don't agree with that method? You think don't do that?
No, it's more just like, do you guys have any, like, is there anything beyond a 100% chance that Jackman's not shown in a future trailer?
I'll never say not 100%. I think, why I think it will happen? Because I think they're going to do press tours together. So I feel like
did that video on the couch.
I know. So I'll say yes, you will see Wolverine in a trailer for sure.
Maybe I'm getting too hung up on it. That was the only thing that really stood out to me as weird. The rest of it was like, oh, these are fun details. I maybe didn't see this coming, but I guess it didn't really change much from what I would expect. My
only worry that when this happened, and then luckily the title said Deadpool Wolverine, but for a split second when he wasn't in it much, I was like, man, I wonder if he's like not in the movie much. Not in the sense like he's a cameo, but in the sense of like it is really more Deadpool 3. Same thing. Taylor, we had that complaint about The Flash, right? Like, I get it. People said it's a Flash movie, but you, me, and Kirk were all like, we could have used more Keaton in this for certain roles, right? And that's why I was like, man, is this like Keaton all over again, where Hugh Jackman's definitely there and he's in it, but he's not going to be as big as we were expecting. But then the title drop came. So to me, if it's Deadpool and Wolverine, he has to be in there. To me, at least over 50%. And if it's under that, I will be disappointed when you market it like this. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what do you think? What did you feel of the trailer, Taylor? And then also, trailer Taylor gets me every time. What do you feel about the Jackman? Is that the right move to do? Is just weed it out a little bit? Should they show the full Monty for the big game?
I don't think you want to. I mean, there's an old saying. Maybe it's not that old, but you don't want to blow your load right away, right?
I'm gonna look up.
Bible, right?
Yeah, Jesus said, "Don't blow your load," and God's like, "I won't."
I think that the trailer was wonderful. I was watching it and I was smiling. I was genuinely just really enjoying everything that was going on and just seeing everything come together. I just in the humor too. Fuck, Ryan Reynolds just in that Deadpool humor was just really, really working with me. I was standing there, I'm like, oh, Madison, the trailer dropped, and I'm holding my phone up so she can watch it. And she wasn't watching. I was like, man, you're missing this. She's like, I don't want to watch the trailer. I'm gonna get spoiled. I'm like, okay. So I went upstairs into another room and I cranked the volume and I rewatched it.
Wow.
And then when he came down, Madison was gone.
Yeah.
Crank the volume with the speakers or with your headphones?
Just with the speakers.
She heard everything.
But this, out of all the trailers, like, I've been rewatching this trailer. Like, I mean, I watched it probably 3 times yesterday, and then today I put on like another like 4 times. I watched it when I got up. I watched it when like twice at work, and I watched it again before I came to the podcast today. Like it's just I was just having a good time watching it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really really excited for it. I loved seeing. Like I love Deadpool. I love what Deadpool has done in his 2 past films. I think that what I really appreciate though is seeing how Disney has Disneyfied this to a certain degree, because it has certain Disney vibes to it that I like, at least that Disney MCU, and it just reminded me of that old school kind of MCU style that I do like, and it's something that you don't really feel like you're getting in the more recent Disney or more MCU films. So this just had a style and aesthetic to it I was jiving with. The humor was there, the action is there, and I'm so stoked. Just again, we'll talk about it, but to see like a familiar group returning after another previous MCU project, and I love the upgrade that they're rocking too, and they're cosmetically. I was super excited. I wanted to go back and rewatch that old show now, just because I'm so all
You
about
can
the
say Loki. I
organization.
don't think it's a spoil. I don't think like TVA being in the trailer is a big spoiler. You know.
Big spoiler. I fucking love the TVA, and this is great.
So, blow your load / blow your wad. The origin comes
Wad.
from the days of muzzle load arm or firearms, both big and small. To ensure a good seal for black powder, it was common practice to place the amount of cloth called wadding between the powder and projectile. If the wadding comes,
Don't shoot your wad. comes
yeah. If the
Wow.
wadding comes out after the gun, or sorry, if the wadding comes out of the gun after the projectile, the gun has completed a full proper firing, which is what you want, thus blowing or shooting one's wad. So technically, it was a good thing to blow or like shoot your wad, because that meant like it was a successful projectile, right? So there you go, Taylor. So
Are you? Well, I mean, you can't say that like things are getting hot and heavy, and you're like, guess what? I'm gonna 5 seconds in, I'm having an successful blow the watt.
you
I
could
don't
say it
think anyone
after
wants to hear
though.
that.
I blew my wad.
Oh, after?
You're
Totally
pregnant.
fine after. Yeah.
Because there's nothing I think us as a culture nowadays have made that has to be a very quick thing or everything. But if you've done a big session, you say that, then it's like, yeah, that's true.
Oh, a big session, sure.
So I liked the I'm with you where I like the trailer more. It's not that I was let down at first. It was just like, okay, I was prepared for more Jackman. That didn't happen. And it felt small, but in a good way. I just felt like we didn't see too many locations, right? We see the TVA, we see his house, and we see this desert place. And it's like, okay. And it's also tough because like the back half or the 30 seconds last year, it's like, that's all stuff we're seeing from the set photos, but that's probably a smart idea to show us stuff that us have seen. I know the people that are watching the Super Bowl have not seen the set photos. They're not into it and stuff as much as we are. So that's where I just felt like, oh, okay. But as I watched, I think that as a trailer, edited very well, sound effects, builds good hype. And I think as I watch it, there's more to glom onto of like questions I have, which are all good stuff, not like, oh, what's going on here? So yeah, I like the trailer overall, and I'm excited for more. I was going to say before we get into it, S-Bubs asked, when do you think we'll get the first full trailer? And I was pulling up the next like couple months, and I don't see.
I mean, this is one of those situations too where we've talked about this before. Where what is a teaser? What's a trailer? This is a trailer, man. This is a trailer if I've ever seen one.
To me, Adrenochrome, we put out a 51-second teaser trailer. That to me is a teaser trailer. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's a full trailer. Deadpool, like that's definitely, they call it a teaser trailer, but. I would
I guess that
imagine.
often we'd look at other Marvel movies coming out and say like, "Oh, that would be a good time to drop
Yeah.
a trailer on this," but we don't have any of those this year, so I don't know.
I would imagine we'll talk about it, but I think at least in May you got the re-release of Phantom Menace, and then the week after you got Kingdom of the Planet of Apes. I think you'll have it on both those. So I would say probably May-ish. I think you get one more in May, and then you get the June tickets on sale now trailer, because they always do that, right? Not
What's
always.
the release date again? July.
26. It's the week of Comic-Con, so that's going to be a
Gotcha.
fire week for us. I'm very excited, but
Wow.
yeah, so I think probably May, and then the tickets online, which is someone pointing out that it's funny we do this podcasting. Madam Web never got a second trailer. It only got that one trailer.
Sure
Like,
did.
because even tickets are on sale. They didn't even do a tickets on sale trailer. Just there's your trailer. So yeah, I think, Taylor, you have anything to go against us on that? You think May's a good time?
Yeah, I would say so.
And you're not seeing the Phantom Menace re-release, eh?
Well, I could be persuaded.
You're gonna
I saw
break
it-
down.
I already saw it in theaters, the 3D one. So I mean, I've had that theatrical experience. The thing I want is I need to cross off Attack the Clones on my list, and I want to be back in Revenge of the Sith. I was a little kid when that happened, so I need to experience that again.
Taylor, before we start breaking this down, All in Game asks, what was the Disney part specifically to you?
For me, it was how colorful it was. I felt like even how he was moving. I feel like Disney likes to make characters move in a very like they have very signature prominent movements. Whether you're like a Doctor Strange, whether you're like your Captain America, they have their movements that very much reflect who they are as a character. And I feel like in this, where Deadpool has been like very much like just action packed, like fighting all over in the other films, and it's great. But this one, just even that scene where he's like cocking the guns on his chest and he's like reloading, I feel like this just feels like he got like the Shang-Chi treatment almost to a slight degree. Like Disney has just given him something to really move in a reflection of his character. And I felt that it was very prominent and I liked it a lot.
Fair
I
enough.
did not
But
get that, but I respect that opinion.
so we're going to take our first break, and then we'll be right back with the breakdown. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So who's controlling the stick tonight?
I got the stick.
Okay, you got the stick. All right, so let's take a look here. So you got his happy birthday, Wade. Now, but pause. Next time you got a shot of him, honestly, it reveals the trailer that he had a wig. But man, when that was the first image on my phone, Ryan Reynolds with that wig is it's a haunting sight. It's just
I feel like
something.
your hair has looked exactly like that.
It has.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. So that's where it's just like, now I know if I went through and had that hair, like I have the same part, but there's something with the makeup. It's haunting, but obviously with people, because I've seen, I don't mean to disparage. It's podcasts I've listened to, and I've seen a lot of tweets of people being like, oh, this must be a multi-universe. People forget it's been 6 years. The end credit explained that Deadpool went back in time and saved everybody, right? I didn't love it, but that's why Vanessa's there and X-Force members. Yeah, looking like a young Dexter. Yeah. Where do I still got Dexter Morgan up there? Oh no, who changed this? What the fuck is this picture?
It's Joker.
What? I didn't do that. Who knows what did that? But yeah, so that's why a lot of these people are back. But yeah, haunting image here. And yeah, it's a Starjammer. So we do get it set up, though. There's a few looks, yeah, right there, and then also right here. I don't think him and Vanessa are together anymore. And the people are yeah, because there's that sad look. And if you play this clip, they look very like it looks like they're estranged. Mm-hmm. And she even says, "Happy birthday, buddy." Like, I think they're friends, and I don't know if it has something to do with that child they're trying to have, something happen there, if they just broke up. But I think they're either not together or they're big time on the rocks. That's what I'm thinking.
I guess that makes sense too if this movie's not really about her like the other ones have been.
Yes.
Maybe that just makes sense too. If you're kind of doing a soft reset here with the time travel part of it, then like what is this new story you want to tell? And if it doesn't really include her, and like if he's just jumping over to 616 with Wolverine and no one else is coming, maybe then I guess that also makes sense too, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. He does say he's the luckiest man alive, but you know, Deadpool, big liar. So yeah, make a wish, buddy. Zito Vinder there. And big edit. We don't have the sound, but I love the edit. Do that. And then there is our first sign of get the TVA agents. And then
I love the armor.
You like the armor?
Oh,
yeah.
looks cool.
And then he makes his first joke, which I think they're smart to put in the first 30 seconds of the trailer. He makes a pegging joke, which is very good. And I think that it's just, for anybody that was worried of like, oh, is this going to be not our Deadpool?
Pause it. Sorry, just pause it quick. When the TV agent like looks at the wig, it's like, what?
I do like the first thing that Deadpool loses in this movie is his wig.
That's great.
Now, here's something, because I don't know if we'll be able to pause it. I don't watch Succession, but I hear great things about this actor. I don't know if we'll get it. Someone has screenshot that the timeline here in the TVA is like the Loki tree. So supposedly this is after Loki season 2. So I'm just very curious of like, and maybe that's what we'll talk about. The whole thing here is like, what is the mission? Because I will say I'm surprised. I got it completely wrong. I said Super Bowl trailer would be all Jackman. Second trailer would be MCU and TVA stuff. And it's completely the opposite way, because they're talking about the MCU, talking about TVA. But like, what do you think the full goal is here, and what is even the TVA doing nowadays? Like, I know Mobius was like, oh, we got to look after Kangs and stuff, but what does a Loki ran TVA need with a Wade Wilson? You know, because he's being recruited.
Wow, that is a great question. Taylor, leading theories?
I mean, the only thing I could think of is his experience navigating through time.
Yeah.
That may be the only thing, and the fact that he can heal, so maybe he's got to go through some risque kind of like time difference authority kind of sequence, and he can heal from it.
That's a good
So
point,
maybe
yeah.
there's something like that. I don't know.
I like that theory. I'm gonna go with that one.
Okay, because I just feel like Wade Wilson. I guess they did that with Loki, right? Where Mobius, they recruited Loki though because they were after another Loki. Where I just feel like Wade Wilson they would see as a very big wild card. But I do like the idea of, we'll probably see more of it. Just that idea of, hey, we have this universe that is just being invaded by the TVA now because it's like probably a branch that did its own thing or went off and stuff, right? So I'm just very curious because they're recruiting him for something, and I don't know what it is. So.
Mm-hmm. I was happy to see this actor here, which I don't remember his name, but I watched most of Succession, and he's very, very good in it. So I was excited to see him here, and I also didn't know he was English because he, just had an American accent in Succession. But I feel like he's really hamming it up here, and it was fun. I was thinking not of drafting him necessarily, but definitely after Succession ended last year, I was looking at that for some draft picks. So I wouldn't have gone with him, but that would have been a good one. I mean, maybe that was confirmed at the time, but this is the first time I acknowledged that he was in this movie.
Yeah, he's been confirmed, luckily, so they got that. And then I was gonna say, when you said from what you've seen, is it a show that you're watching through or that you've given up on?
Me and Buzz are on season 3, and I think we're dropped off at this point. I'm gonna be honest. The first season was really great.
Yeah.
Second season was okay. Start of the third season has been pretty weak for me so far.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna finish it. I don't know. Even a few days ago, we hadn't watched it in like a month or two, and we put on an episode, and within like 10 minutes, we were like, this is not it. So
Yeah.
I feel like someday maybe, but because I've heard it has a great ending and all that, or an interesting ending at the very least. But anyway, that's my journey with Succession.
Yeah, it's on my show list. That's what I was asking. It's on that okay, what's next? Me and Emily are doing The Bear right
Watch
now.
White Lotus first. That would be
White Lotus is probably next because I think we're waiting until August, which sounds dumb because there's a lot of HBO shows like Game of Thrones coming back and things. So I think that's when we'll watch them all. But right now we're on The Bear.
We're halfway through Beef right now, Travis. We've been watching that.
Oh yeah, it's good, right?
It's really fun.
It's good stuff. Very unpredictable. Pinolio says, I think some new villains are trying to change the past, and Deadpool sent to save the previous Phase 1 and 2 events. That would be interesting. So someone's messing up with the Infinity Saga, and they send him. Again, it's tough. It's a risky one. S-Bubs, his theory is if they're sending him to the end of time or where that Fox logo is, might be too dangerous for any other agent. Maybe that could be it. Or maybe they just want to send someone expendable as well too, right? They don't care about Deadpool. It could be that sort of thing. So, all right, let's go. Let's see what else is here. I do appreciate that some of his wig is left over too from the.
It's really. I hope this is not a long sequence. I do not like the look.
No, I don't think it will be.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's that subtle humor where he's like, "Yeah, you pissed your pants and you're unconscious." He's like, "Oh, I wasn't unconscious." Just that.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah. So this is the big moment here where they give him, which tracks because, Sophia did it, and then who did Kang offer? I can't remember. I feel like both in season 1 and season 2, not multiple, but there's been characters offered like, if you help me, I'll give you a place on the secret time or the sacred timeline, right? So I feel like this tracks for the MCU where that's probably what they're doing to Deadpool here, right? Where if you help us, the timeline that survives and is thriving and is known as the best timeline, the sacred timeline, you can be a part of that. So that does track as something they offer people. Taylor, you had your...
that bottom left computer screen, is that Deadpool in a suit?
It's when he won an Emmy last month, so they were just using that clip of him winning an Emmy. So
That's funny.
yeah. So that's what that's from. But yeah, you got the sacred timeline here. So yeah, I like that. Like I said, there's precedence, and I feel like that would be a good thing. And that's why I also feel like maybe him and Vanessa are an item, because if he's willing to leave her behind, maybe because his life is kind of shits over there. So
True. Good point. Do you think these particular moments that we're seeing on the screens are relevant here? Or is it more just like, this is what the Avengers are? They kill bad guys.
Well, we got Ragnarok, you got Age of Ultron, and what's Iron Man Age of Ultron, and what's the middle one?
You got Iron Man Age of Ultron?
Well, that's Iron Man from Age of Ultron when he's
Is
going.
it?
Yeah, when
I
he's
think the
storming
middle
the
might
base,
also
the
be
Hydra
Age of
base.
Ultron as well
I thought
too.
it was like the Jeep section or whatever from.
Yeah, because that's why
film.
we'll pause when we get there. But there's a section that people think might be the Age of Ultron forest, so that would make sense. I don't know about Thor Ragnarok. I don't see him popping up on Asgard or anything, but maybe that's a designated plan or
Isn't that
something.
the end game scene on the right there? When he
Is
comes
it, or is it
down?
when he fights?
Or no, because
Hela? He has two eyes. Yeah, he has two eyes. So that's the Hela scene where he lands on the bridge.
Right.
And he's, I'm the god of whatever. What are you the god of again? That's
Yeah.
that scene. Lucas Jones says he goes into Age of Ultron, Ragnarok to alter the timeline. Could be to stop Thor from leaving Earth after Ultron. See, I just because other people are maybe, and people have thrown this out, maybe to get one in Quicksilver. I'm very curious because I was prepared for him to be in MCU stuff, but Lucas, you're not alone. Tons of people are throwing out this theory of him altering MCU or doing stuff. I thought it was going to be more just messing up and altering Fox stuff and MCU. Well, we'd meet them along the way, but I don't know if it is going to be like saving the phase or something like I don't know, but maybe it is because they're showing him a whole TV of the MCU characters and saying, "Hey, we need your help." So I don't
It
know.
does seem like maybe a bit too high of stakes. to
Yes.
give him, perhaps, but
Is that maybe what they
Deadpool
sell him
20,
on,
so
maybe?
they could pull it off.
Maybe they sell him on that, but that's actually not it. Like it's kind of a
Oh,
ruse.
true. Yeah.
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 So I don't know, but it's interesting, right? I like that we got a trailer where it's like, hey, we got little pieces, right? There is rumored to be Cassandra Nova, Xavier's twin sister that was in.
Right.
Remember we
That
talked
makes
about her?
sense, Yeah.
Yeah, the villain that was in the womb or whatever, and something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then that right there too. If you go back, Dylan, and this is where people are bringing up the Ragnarok thing. That supposedly is the same bed that Hulk sleeps in Ragnarok. With the big
Wait, are you
teeth.
talking about this scene or not?
Yeah, no, go back a little more. It's like a quick fade. It's like a quick fade in between. Right there. Yeah. So those big teeth and the little teeth behind. That's Hulk's bed from Ragnarok. So that's why
totally,
people
yeah.
are. I could almost see a thing where if we do, because I guess at the same point I could see Deadpool making fun of the Endgame thing, right? Of Endgame when they all go to separate movies, but maybe he goes to these universes where the heroes are gone, or it is an alternate universe. Like, what if it's like the Fox version of Thor Ragnarok, or whatever, or Sakaar, right? Maybe it's like what's Sakaar looking like in Fox? Like, I could see that same thing. He goes to the Age of Ultron base, and maybe he kills one in Quicksilver accidentally. Like, I could see that where he screws up these things. So, because there is signs of Ultron and Ragnarok, and yeah, I suppose there was a clip of Civil War. I think it's when Bucky's fighting one of them. So there is a bed from Ragnarok. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of like the idea of him, where Avengers Endgame's going back to like, what are some very iconic moments or locations from the movies. I like that if he just goes to like very random places.
Yes.
that are pretty much meaningless. Like that feels like very Deadpool kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we got our first look. So you can go back there so there was a comic series where Wolverine took the identity known as Patch. It's a Madripoor, which we've heard mentioned Falcon Winter Soldier and other places. He takes the identity as Patch, and he's just Wolverine in a white suit with an eye patch. People have theorized, and I will agree with them here, that I don't think this one is Hugh Jackman. I think this is going to be a different character playing him, just because I feel that this guy looks a little smaller than what Hugh Jackman is. So I feel like, Taylor, if you're going to get your Daniel Radcliffe cameo, this might be it. And this would fit too, because Patch is like it's a different identity of Wolverine, right? And who knows for sure? It could just be him, but they are showing him from behind. Also, they don't show the face; it's just the hair. I think we are going to get multiple Wolverines. So I think this is where you might get some cameo of Radcliffe, Egerton, or no, not who Edgerton? Yeah, Taron Egerton.
Yep.
Who's Joel?
Joel?
Do they have the same last name, Joel and Taron Egerton? I don't think so, right? Is one Edgerton and one's Egerton?
I think there's a slight difference.
I think there
Like
might be like a
in
D
one
or
of
a G in there. Yeah.
A D. Okay, so Taron. This could be Taron. So
them. Aaron.
Fun line. He's Messiah.
Hair.
Yeah. I don't think he'll be there for long. Don't worry. We're all Jesus, and then great suit up, multiple spanks.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what you're talking about, Taylor? Some of these movements,
Yeah, is
doing
that
the
a
splits and
Disney
stuff.
thing to you?
Yeah.
Some of those moves. I love when he's got the splits and he like stands up.
Yeah, it's a good
boom,
shot.
and, like slaps his thigh. That's so good.
And that's what I will say. Obviously, the Deadpool films have all had different directors. This little scene there with the cheeks and the splits and what we're seeing with the gun, to me, feel exactly like the first two in a good way. You know, like elements where it's like, okay, we're still in good hands. So
Mm-hmm.
this July, and now
So
this is where
talking
people,
about the potential
yes,
Age of
Ultron,
Ultron location.
because it's woods, it's winter. That was the case of Age of Ultron. It doesn't look, it's not color graded the exact same. Ultron's a little darker, but and this is where he's killing the TVA agent. So he was recruited. So that's why I think maybe he's gonna figure out that there is a ruse and he's being used for something else, and that's why like I don't know. And even then, maybe it's just like they're telling him to go kill and like destroy things that aren't like supposed to be destroyed in a way, almost like. But that's why I'm wondering like, what the TVA is up to, right? Because it's kind of the origin of the TVA right now. Is they all felt that they all figure out that, oh, these are lifelines and people, we're killing them, we should stop killing them. So I don't know what the ruse would be for Deadpool, because that's them killing people again. So I'm very, and same thing with that Succession actor. He wasn't in the season, so has there been like a
Sure. Yeah.
hostile takeover or something? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Logo in the background. 20th century.
It's Edgerton versus Egerton. There you go.
Yeah, the D.
There you go. And then this is they got the Fox logo. It's great. And then this fantastic just gun reload sequence, looking like an emote from Fortnite or something like that. You know, it's great. And that's Aliyah from
Yeah, I was
Loki.
gonna ask. That's what I thought it was for sure. Purple orb.
And that's where I'm wondering too, because Deadpool, does he have? Oh my fuck! Does he have handcuffs on here?
The TVA agent or Deadpool?
No, Deadpool.
I don't think so.
It doesn't look like it when it cuts to the next scene. He's got his hands on his chest like, who, me?
No,
Yeah,
he
he's holding
doesn't. Okay,
knives.
yeah, he's holding
Yeah.
knives. Okay, I was wondering if he was set there, but still, he's where alive, so maybe he gets pruned at some point when he's not done his job. I don't know. So, raise his hand. People think that's Doctor Doom. It's not Doctor Doom. That I was not, out of all the people, like to be. I know we've heard rumors of other X-Men characters, but for Pyro to be back, was not expecting this, and I'm looking forward to probably the unfortunate death he's going to have, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to make it long, but very cool to see him in like a more comic accurate costume too. So cool. I love Pyro.
Who's the guy in front of him?
I don't know. He's looking
I
like
think that's
Scarecrow and
Scarecrow.
Bane. Yeah.
Yeah. No, to me this is a very fun cameo. I also like his costume, but I mean, yeah, going back to what he's in X2, X3, right? Bring this guy back, right?
Yeah.
I think it's fun. It's very like low stakes sort of thing where it doesn't really matter if you nail it or not. It's just kind of like a little detail for the fans from back in the day. So
Yeah.
yeah, I could
Just
see him just being like a mini boss essentially. So I'm down for it.
fills out the world a bit. Yeah, I'm down for that. Then more kind of a throwback to the first movie, right? The weight, and he puts his hands up, and then we get the whole. Now, if you pause right there, Dylan, there's two things that might be hard to see. Yeah, so on the left, there's two things. There's a comic book of the Secret Wars, but then also there is a green bottle. It's hard to see here, but to the left of the comic book, and people theorize it's the same green bottle that Stanley drinks in Incredible Hulk that he dies. I know it's hard to see, but it is a glass green bottle. People have zoomed in on it. And so that's where, I don't know if this is where Eliath is. It's another pruning area, because this looks like there's things that go to die, kind of, right? The 20th Fox logo, the poisonous thing that Stanley drank, the Secret Wars comic book, Deadpool, clearly whatever happens to him. So
Deadpool's in Secret Wars confirmed. Is that what we're getting from this?
I think both. I think both these two. It's pretty fitting that Secret Wars is right beside them, and they're in the seat. And I like the shot of the shadow and stuff. If we're not going to show them, then it's a cool shot.
Mm-hmm.
Got the snake, got everything. So yeah, and you get the smallest bit of him, but yeah,
Nice.
Deadpool coming July.
Or I guess
Yeah, people have brought this up too. Luke Joyce says, could the MCU actor for Wolverine be the one that was mentioned in She-Hulk and Madripoor? And it did just say a guy with claws. So that's where maybe that could also just be a phony of a Wolverine too, because who knows what the actual claws are, right? So, but
yeah, true.
yeah, no, I enjoyed that trailer. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward more. I'm looking forward to that. We already had a ride as far as us talking about it, right? As far as like, what was I gonna say? Theory crafting and whatnot. So, anything else in this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Seems like a damn good time.
Looks like a damn good time. Well, you know, it doesn't look like a damn good time if you were there in person. Quiet Place Day 1. Because, man, could you imagine that going down? Taylor, what did you think about this one? This is coming out, God, I don't know when. I'll find that date out for you. But sometime this May or summer. Oh, right there. June 28th. So, obviously still a few months away. But this is supposed to be the inception, the day that it all goes down. What do you think about this one?
I have a very weak spot for doing anthology stories like this when it's some alien-oriented apocalyptic setup and you have like a general story, but then you get anthology parts that are showcasing different perspectives of like the D-Day that it happens. I love that kind of stuff, and so this is just really, really cool to see. I was super engaged with Quiet Place Part 2's intro and just how we see how the family had to immediately kind of adapt and survive to just how things went to shit immediately. And that kind of concept stretched over an entire film, I think, is really, really awesome. It's going to be so cool to see how people are adapting to the situation and how so many people are going to get killed. It's going to be absolute chaos, and I just can't wait. I think the trailer was a great setup. It has a lot of intrigue, and it's introducing new characters that I'm really, really excited to learn about and just to see how their survivability skills come into play. And yeah, I mean, they didn't really show much of the story. It's just basically just a couple cool action shots, the world falling apart, and just this person who is our main protagonist just surviving and forming a couple of alliances, it looked like. But other than that, we really don't know what the story is going to be and what this person's ultimate goal is aside from surviving, which I don't blame them. So,
of course, yeah. Dylan, this getting the juices going?
Yeah, the juices are going. I've been a bit lower on this because we hadn't really seen anything, but also I wasn't a big fan of Part 2. And then also, this not having Krasinski as the director anymore is like, okay, well, how different is this going to be?
Yeah.
So I was really pleasantly surprised by this trailer. I thought it was a good showing. It seems much less character focused to me and much more of like a disaster movie is the vibe I get from this, which I think I'm okay with. I'm okay for it to be something different, and I'm sure we will focus on these characters that are in here. And the cast, I'm a fan of too. I think there's a really good mix of people in there. So I'm like very much looking forward to this now, where I had very little hype before. And I'm kind of glad to be starting in a new spot just because of where Part 2 left me off. So yeah, I thought this was a really, really well done trailer. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think I was the exact same as Dylan. It's not that I wasn't low hyped, and I always had it on the calendar. It's not one where I was like, oh, I need to see a trailer to see it. I liked both those films, and I was still interested. I guess I was just, I don't know, because maybe it's just the default classic GeekVerse Day 1 Travis. It's a prequel, right? And I always kind of almost check out when I hear like, okay, even though you could do almost like what Taylor's talking about, a story adjacent, it's still like a prequel, but it's like, well, I don't know what happens to these characters, right? And I guess I don't know why I hadn't thought of it, but I hadn't thought of like the scale of it being like, okay, day 1 of the Quiet Place scenario, whatever they call it, and all this stuff going down. When they show some of those shots of like when it's Joseph Quinn and he's looking up and you see all those things coming from the building, they break through the glasses, like that's terrifying. Or they just see this bridge completely blown up, whether it is alien made or whether that is the government choosing to just desert these people. It's just like, it almost reminded me of Cloverfield, that kind of, it's a massive city, but still there's like a God, what happens when you feel squished in and you can't move?
Claustrophobic.
Yeah, there's it's claustrophobic where it's a mass. There's buildings, there's people everywhere, but because you're having to get boxed in these situations where you could get taken out, it's just like enclosing on you. So I think that's what impressed me more was the scale. It's a bunch of great actors. You got Nopalita, who's like one of the best in the world. You got her, you got Joseph Quinn. You got Jaimin Hunsu. Always great to see Jaimin Hunsu. Alex Wolff was somewhere in this movie. I don't know where.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm not sure if he's gonna end up being one of they always have some creepy humans, right? And maybe he's gonna be that human that you bump into, like, oh, he could help us, and there's some ulterior motive. Like I could see it, right? He could pull it off. So yeah, this is what can do, and luckily most of these trailers, but this is what a good trailer can do. And to me, got my hype up of okay, especially like you said, Taylor, we had that sneak peek in part 2, but this is going to be at least for the first half, right? Because near the back of this trailer, it looks like they're figuring out the whole like don't talk, don't make a sound. But when they initially attack and nobody knows that, that's just pandemonium because it's like everybody's making sounds.
It's like, it seems immediate. You know, oftentimes with this, it's like a meteor crashes, a few days go by, an alien incubates, and then it starts going off.
What's happening on?
But here, it's like those things are down, and immediately all the creatures are just running out, immediately hunting. So that franticness, I think that first 20 minutes or whatever the movie is going to be really intense. Not letting down on the pacing until you finally actually get to know your characters a bit and have those slower moments.
And I hope it is like 20 minutes or even the first half, because I do worry. I wonder if this could just be almost like Quiet Place Part 2, where a lot of this big stuff's in the opening scene, or even Last of Us did that, right? Where the first scene is everything that goes down, and then it jumps like 5 years later with Joel and everything, right? So I get it because you got to budget everything. I'm not saying the whole movie can be like 2012 and just be disaster, but I'd kind of love it starting a normal day and everything just is periodically, got it, being shut down, taken out, because the attack happens at day and that bridge goes down at night. So that's kind of my hope, is that throughout there's bad stuff going on. It's not just that first act and then it's a bunch of characters locked in a warehouse for an hour, right? Which can be good, but you got to make it. This looked something different than Quiet Place, but still Quiet Place like. Well, so
because Quiet Place 1 and 2, like the timeline between those is like a few days, right, at most.
I think so.
It's like 72 hours.
I think they kind of show that in their like first when they're saying the day count at the beginning of this trailer. So I feel like that's probably gonna be the same thing here, where it's not gonna be like an I Am Legend situation where we skip 2-3 years later and this is where the characters are. Like it'll probably be just this whole cohesive sequence. Mentioning that though, I thought it was funny that they opened this trailer with John Krasinski and then Cillian Murphy. It's like, of course you're going to show these two. Like obviously John Krasinski's a big deal, but like especially Cillian Murphy after Oppenheimer and all this stuff. So I thought it was funny that they started with that. But yeah, I was like surprised to see Lupita in here. Maybe we've talked about that, but even from the posters that I've seen, like obviously that's her now, but like it didn't really look like her to me. So now I'm glad to know that she's in there, and I'm glad that seems to be the lead. Maybe her and Joseph Quinn are sharing the leading role there, whatever it is. I think that's going to be a really fun duo.
Well, and I like to talk about them showing the leads at the beginning. I would understand, too, if they didn't call this movie A Quiet Place Day One, if it was just called Day One. And it's like, hey, we really need the audience to know that it's connected. But the movie's called A Quiet Place. It's pretty odd. Like, I don't know who couldn't figure that out. But I got to ask you two, as you guys are cat guys, is that cat making it out? Her cat?
Oh, yeah, that cat was in one shot.
Yeah, and it's in the poster, too. She has it in her purse, so I feel like that's going to be a companion. So do you think the cat makes it?
Yeah, some cats do stay pretty quiet, but they don't really follow commands very well. So I could see that cat not making it very far.
I think the cat has a high chance of surviving. Okay. Cats are like...
That's not the thing she loses to, like... really,
I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if they do kill the cat, but I live with 3 cats. They are quiet. They are super quiet.
Did Cillian Murphy have a dog in the second one?
He might have, but remember, I think he leaves it, but at one point he was on that, wasn't he on that island, or wasn't he in a location? No, he was in a bunker, remember? He was in a quiet bunker. Yeah. So, and then they get to that island that's far away.
There's been pets before, because I just feel like that wouldn't go well, generally. Yeah. That's like, I wouldn't want to, like, I love cats. I don't think I'd want to risk, like, Taylor, if this actually happened, would you keep your cats with you? Or, because if they make one meow, that could be your whole family's lives right there. Would you trust?
I wouldn't keep the cats with me. I honestly think they'd probably survive better out on their own in the wild.
Oh, that's what you would
But-
say. Yeah, well, you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
survived better
I'm
without
sure they
me.
made it. They had the whole colony and
These cats have
everything.
never fed themselves in their life. Yeah.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe just hit them with some kitty litter, and then they're like, not kitty
What?
litter. What is?
Give 'em some litter?
Sorry,
take
not.
this litter and go shit out in the woods.
What is the thing that's like a cat getting them high or something like that?
Catnip?
Yeah, catnip. Give them some catnip and
Jeez, what are you giving
No.
your cat?
knock her. Well, I don't have cats. Clearly, you know
You
that,
gave 'em
that's
too
the
much
thing.
catnip the first time, and now your parents didn't let you get
Killed it. I was like, these cats aren't good. I gave the catnip, like it said. Yeah. I think she's taking it though. It's in that purse, so I'm interested to see all the dynamics, and even that shot. Then I really like them in the house that it's getting broken down and stuff, or wherever they are. So I'm now officially excited for this. Where I was just intrigued, but now I'm like, okay, this is building up. So
It's like World War Z at the start, where things just go to shit immediately, and that's what I like.
I've still never seen it.
You've never seen World War
Retro
Z?
that someday. I
No,
didn't
just
watch it.
just
Wow.
because that movie went through like so much development hell or production hell, and I heard it end up being good. But that's a movie that it was getting reshot like twice in the middle. Like if you look at the IMDb trivia, it's like it was a disaster and like that whole production
It's a
and
tense
stuff. But,
movie. I feel like you never get a breather.
yeah, so no, maybe I'll check it out. I'm gonna check out that. I'm gonna check out Pig as well because I know it's a weird transition, but that's the only thing this guy's directed. And I had heard the year that came out, that's that Nicolas Cage, people kidnap his pig and he goes to get it back.
Yeah.
Like I've heard nothing but great things, so I want to check it out before I see this, just to see some of his style. So, but yeah, it sounds like we're all excited for that. So look out
Yeah.
for what is that?
Two-
That's
Two
go ahead.
quick things.
Yeah,
One,
yeah.
In Quiet Place Part 2, I'm trying to remember that opening scene, but like I presume we see a meteor crash and then everything starts.
Yeah,
Is
you
that what
see the
happened?
meteor in the sky, and then the pieces breaking off.
Yeah, so this definitely seemed like just amping up the intensity of that, but I kind of forgot about that detail. And the other thing that was funny was early on in the city sequence, Lupita's like under a car, she's like crawling away, and there's a guy behind her, and he's like grabbing her leg, and he's like, "Please, please help!" And I'm like, what was he expecting her to do in that moment? Like, I had no understanding of how he thought she was gonna help him in that predicament. Very confusing.
Yeah, I really don't know. Maybe it was just a scooch over so he could fully fit on the car. Maybe was that it?
I feel
There
like
was
she
enough
was
room.
moving. Like I
I
don't know.
agree. I agree. And what I'm curious in that, because I feel like in that moment she says shush or something, so I'm curious to see how quickly she picks up the noise or
Well,
what
she
they
doesn't
do.
talk at all, right?
No, but I thought she like motioned for him to be quiet. Maybe it was just to go away.
Well, I just mean like maybe she's a mute or something like that. Like I don't
Mm.
know if they, because that was a big deal with the first two movies, is having an actor in there who's deaf, right? And I don't know if
Yeah.
they want to continue that somehow.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Do you think the who makes it longer, the cat or that character from the first movie in the opening credits?
character from the first movie,
It has to do with the fire truck. Remember?
I gotta rewatch.
We'll come back to
I'll
that
say the
question on the
cat.
review.
The cat. The cat.
It's just a very shock. I was like, whoa, So we'll see. We'll be reviewing it at some point. That comes out June 28th. So not much coming out around that time actually. Lots of stuff, but we're not reviewing Despicable Me 4, and I don't think we're reviewing the Bike Riders either. So there you go. Let's take our next ad break, and then we'll be right back. And we are back. So let's jump to where are we here? Let's talk about Twisters. Dylan, I want to get your thoughts, and maybe I've asked you this, but it's a refresher and also for new people in case. Have you seen the original Twister?
I've not seen the original
Okay.
Twister.
So, and then what is your anticipation for this after seeing a trailer? Great cast, Glenn Powell, so hot right now. Daisy Edgar Jones, new Superman's in there for a second. You only see him for a second. You got that guy from Nope, right? He's in there.
He looked familiar, but I couldn't.
I think he had the Alpha, and then there's another guy, Anthony Ramos. There's a couple other people. Hang on, I just thought the guy from Nope was doing a similar role where he's like part of a camera crew and everything like that. But what did you think of this, Brandon Pira?
Oh, that guy. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
He was
I
in
didn't
there,
see him
right?
in this trailer, actually. I think
He is, yeah. So he has a beard and long hair in this one. That's why. And he's in the
wow.
crew at one point. They're going. He has like a camera. So that's why I just got a laugh of like, oh, he's doing
That's
this
funny,
again.
Similar
Yeah.
situation. Yeah, I'm excited to
Same
see him
character.
actually because I haven't seen him in anything other than Nope, and I thought he was really fun for
Mm-hmm.
the character that he was given in that one. So I watched when I was watching these trailers, I watched Twisters first, and then I watched Day One, and I was like, man, Day One, that is how you do a disaster movie trailer. That is how it's done. I'm sold. I'm in the theater. You got my butt in that seat, but Twisters did not do that. This looks quite bad to me, and I don't know where my expectations were for it. It's freaking Twisters,
Yeah.
but I just thought the CGI didn't look very good. It didn't look very compelling, and the characters weren't really doing it for me either. So, like, what do I have to latch on to? Not a whole lot, and I just think the whole concept's a bit cheesy. And then, like, at some point, it's like, oh shit, there's two Twisters. I was like, oh my god, like I don't care about this at all. This is so lame. So yeah, not for me. Not for me. I'll leave it at that.
SWF says he was getting Geostorm vibes before the tornado destroying drones.
Oh, I remember that trailer. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely same energy.
So Taylor, same to you. Thoughts on the first one, if you have them, and then thoughts on this trailer for a movie that's coming out in the summer here.
I remember when I was little watching that first one, and it terrified me. I felt like at any point a fucking Twister was gonna come through my home and I'd be fucked.
Well, that's still true. That's still true.
So true.
If you're
Well,
sitting
I
there
don't
right
know about
now,
here.
no, I'm just saying, if a tornado happened to come through your home, you're game over for you.
First
know?
thing
No,
he would
no,
do
no.
is throw his cat out the door, and then
Throw the cat out
he
the
would
door.
worry about
What you
it.
gotta do, you gotta get to the crawl space. You gotta find where the pipes are digging into the ground, and you gotta strap a belt up and strap your belt to the pipes, just like they did in the movie, and just hold on for dear life.
So maybe this is my naivete, but do you have a crawl space?
Every
Good.
house
I-
should have a crawl space, unless you're in like a condo or townhomes or
Really?
whatnot. But then just
Where
go
do
to
you
an
get into
arcade.
yours, Taylor?
It is well. Why do you want to know?
Yeah, can you
What?
give us the address
I'm
and
just
then
trying
how
to
to get
picture
it?
from your
Yeah,
house, like where that is.
same thing.
So it's underneath my washing machine.
Okay. I don't have a crawl space.
You should have a crawl space.
My downstairs is already underground, though. Remember?
Well, then you're all set there. That's good.
Am I all? Where are the pipes that I'm supposed to tie myself to?
Well, I'm sure you have to find some under there somewhere, but
Just hammer through. Get ready, kids.
yeah, just keep looking for the pipes.
There's also still a chance that those pipes still don't save you if a massive tornado just rips through your home, right?
You'd have to find something really, really like embedded into the ground, something like concrete, something you can really just like tie or strap yourself up to. Nothing that'll pull out, nothing like on a screw or anything like that, or a nail.
Taylor just said coyotes, tornadoes. There's nothing that can take this man down. You know? He's prepared for
I'm
it
fighting
all.
for survival. I'm not gonna be in Quiet Place Day One under the car saying help me. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be doing something.
You're gonna be
else.
Jimon Hunts. You going, shh, shut the fuck up. Shh. I've tied you to the pipes. Now be quiet. So this one give you that same fear? You saw this, you're like getting PTSD. Like, oh no, there are two of them this time, twins.
Two of them, yeah. Well, I mean, I watched that first one last year, and I thought it was a good time. I enjoyed it, and I still can't believe that it made like almost just shy of making 500 million at the box office, and that was in 1996.
Yeah, I
which
think
is
we looked
crazy.
at that, right? Didn't we? And
We
it was
did.
like 809. Like it was like a close to $1 billion movie. It's a massive hit for back then.
Yeah. So, is this gonna do it? I don't think so. But I know I drafted it, but I think it's gonna be a safe pick and get me a couple hundred million. But I think it looks cool. Like, it's got some great actors in here. The story seems interesting. I feel like they're gonna be really trying to tie it in for a legacy vibe with those other characters from that first one, and just kind of like the next generation, so to speak. But I don't know if there's really a place for this type of movie anymore in Hollywood. I actually watched 2012 the other day, and that movie, like people
You
aren't
watch that
rushing
movie
to
a
talk
lot. You watch that movie a lot.
No, not too
I
often.
think
It
I've seen
stresses
you-
me out. It
I feel like
stresses
I've
me
seen
out.
you log it a couple times in the past 2 years.
Maybe it stresses me the fuck out. God damn. But I don't think that there, not unless there's some world-ending event that has something attached to it, like Aliens in a Quiet Place. That as you said, Dylan, that one was much more well received when you watch that trailer. I feel like that's probably the case in point for most people. When you look at this, it's just the tornado, and there's some cool scenes, I guess, but it's not anything hype. When he plants the drills of his truck down into the ground, and like he's in the truck, like whoa, like, and the tornado goes over them, like it's cool. But the CGI, not really 100% there. Yeah, there's not really a catch. Will I see it in theaters?
Well, there is a catch
Maybe.
though. This time they can destroy the tornadoes, right? That's the new thing that they
with
can.
those little drones.
Yeah.
That is a neat concept.
It's not that
I hope,
neat, though.
yeah, I hope that's exactly what the Hollywood exec said. Like, I don't think we need new twisters. Well, these drones, though, that is a neat
I feel like
concept.
the CGI of that sequence is going to be so boring. Of
Yeah.
like these
Oh,
drones going
yeah.
out and just dismantling the electricity, whatever the hell they do.
Already it looked bad, and I can just see the third act of like, hit the button, release the drones, like I can, and then they just squeeze
And
it.
then one of the
Oh,
drones doesn't work. I have to go up after them now.
Yeah.
So like this drone's going to lift him up into the air.
You gotta connect it to the heater. Oh no! And save.
Yeah.
He's doing it alone. Yeah. So I will say, like, I think I'm more positive on this than you guys, but not like by like a 0.1, just for the fact that I thought this was gonna look like complete dog shit, and I don't think it looks like complete dog shit. I think there's a chance that this could be, because I don't know. I'm not saying this could be Top Gun, but I never ever would have thought Top Gun would have blew up like it did, right? And that's very different because that's Tom Cruise was back. That's a direct sequel. This is a weird, like at one point it was written as a direct sequel with characters coming back, and then they took that away. So I don't know if this is just like a remake, reimagining. It is a sequel. So I'm not saying it's going to be $1 billion movie, but I think there could be enough nostalgia and maybe a look of like, oh, let's go watch a disaster movie. I do think the cast does help, especially Glenn Powell. Like, I do think Top Gun, and we don't talk about that much, but like that Anyone But You movie, that movie was a budget of $20 million and has made 150 million. No, not yet. Other than Emily, everyone I hear, well, actually Maddie gave it I saw Maddie on Letterboxd give a positive review, but our Discord people and everyone else I talked to don't have good things to say, but Emily really liked it, so it's not a good barometer for me. She also just that, like, Glenn Powell's her man crush right now, so it's like, yeah, it's like do a leap of being in a movie, be like, oh yeah, Golden Geek winner, it's like, doesn't a little bias
Argyle,
there.
there you go.
I gotta see Argyle, yeah. Taylor, Golden Geek nominee coming to Argyle.
I mean, I would give Bryce Dallas Howard best actress performance
Oh, wow.
for sure. She was incredible. The writing did not help, but she did the best she could, and she was fantastic.
Good to hear. I'll happily watch that stream. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Watch it streaming, not theatrically,
Okay, there you go.
and you don't have to rush.
That's a thumbs down. That's a night. That's like a X-Men. Like,
Nicest way of saying thumbs down.
yeah. So I don't know how this is gonna do, because I also thought Wonka was not gonna be big, and that was. But the difference is, everybody that's seen Wonka has told me great movie. Where I don't know if this is gonna be the same, but it just looks to me the same thing that it could break out. And for some reason, I guess what I took away is I think Glenn Powell, which I think that's now just a given, and then Daisy Edgar Jones, who I really, really like. Ever since Fresh, I've been a big fan of. In the trailer, I looked at them and thought, oh, I think they're actually going to have really good chemistry together. And I think that's going to help the movie a lot, because I think it's going to be a lot of that romantic back and forth, flirting, being angsty with one another. So I think if they can click, it could be like a good box office couples movie if you got your action adventure but a little romance. So box office wise, I'm a little more shining light on it, but just a little more. I just don't know, like what Taylor said, and I've said this before, I just don't know who's asking for a Twisters. I just don't know. But I wonder if it's just that point where there's going to be enough people that haven't seen the original. I like the original enough. It's one of those movies that's like a spam on TBS, so I feel like I've seen it like 10,000 times to the point that I never want to watch it again. It's one of Emily's favorites, so I do watch it again. But I just like, and Bill Paxton's great, Helen Hunt, but so yeah, I'm really curious how it's going to do. I don't think, because this comes out This comes
Should I go
out.
back and watch it?
I think it's pretty good. I think for the 90s, it stands up pretty well, and the chemistry between those two are really good. But
Yeah.
I think it doesn't have to jump to the top of your
Should
list.
we be
but
doing a one episode retro of this?
Oh yeah, let's do
But
it.
is anyone
Leading up
actually
to the review that no one's
Throw
gonna see.
Geostorm in
that's
there.
what I was gonna say though. Is anyone seeing Twisters?
I do
I've-
have I got the Landmark Cinemas like monthly thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like incentivized to go see more things. So there's a world. What's the
You're
release
not-
date of this puppy
But
again?
it's the
Is it
week before
prime time?
July
Deadpool.
19th.
It's the week before Deadpool. And also a trailer that I think we already liked. The week before that is Longlegs, which I feel like if you had your choice, Dylan, you can see Longlegs, you can see Twisters.
I'm seeing long legs. For
Yeah, so
sure.
I say we cool it on the retro. Maybe Taylor, you seeing this Twisters?
Oh yeah, I'm seeing this.
So maybe Kirkland and Taylor can do a.
I think
I'd do
this
the
is
retro,
definitely
that'd be fun.
this is a
Yeah,
Kirkland
sure.
and Kirkland's dad movie for sure.
Oh, absolutely. They can watch on F movies right after. But yeah, for me,
That NATO. Yeah.
for me, it's tough because with that. So here's the 5-week span. It's Quiet Place Day 1, week after Despicable Me 4, which I'll have to see with my kids. Longlegs, Twister, and then Deadpool.
Oh,
So like
wow,
5.
that's quite the run.
Yeah, and for me, it's like 5 weeks at the theaters. That's likely not going to happen. So probably Twisters is going to be the one, unless it is something where it is like Top Gun, where enough people just go, "Hey, this is really good. You should go see it." If there's enough hype from people, I'll say, "Okay, I'll go check it out," because I think Emily will definitely want to see it. So, yeah, there's a chance maybe I might sneak in the review then, because I forgot about Emily and she'll probably want to see it because she likes Twisters and Glen Powell, so it's a big combo. So.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Geostorm Day After Tomorrow, 2012, and Twisters Walmart Compact is gonna go crazy. Yeah, I remember
That's a
seeing all
true
those.
I
thing.
loved After Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Classic.
one of
Best
our
YouTube
biggest
retro?
Yeah, one of our biggest
Not
reviews ever.
controversial, no dislikes.
Huge movie. All right, let's get into where we. Okay, let's get into. Let's see, Apes. Let's talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Just a mouthful title. Dylan, I'm gonna start with you because I don't think you were down on, but I felt like the first teaser you were like, oh, like it was like a thumb up. I mean, it's like it was fine. You know, like I don't think you were raving about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like this is almost the opposite of Quiet Place Day 1 for me, where I really love those trilogy of movies that we got in Matt Reeves' trilogy. Haven't seen the OG ones. I'm not on that retro, as people may. Is that on the main feeds yet, or is that still just...
No, just
okay.
Patreon feeds. Go over phase 2, 4 Apes movies right now. Yeah.
But the patrons will know that I'm not on
Yeah.
that retro. But yeah, I love that trilogy, and yeah, just this trailer. I guess I was hoping this could maybe turn me around on this or get me more excited, but it didn't do it for me. I think this looks quite bland, quite uninspired. I don't think I'm really intrigued by any of the story stuff going on here. None of the characters are particularly grabbing me. Like even the action and the set pieces, locations all seem a bit drab. So I don't know. Maybe it's really deep in the political stuff, which I think is what those original ones are doing more of, perhaps. But it's just not working for me. It's not grabbing me, and I don't even know if I want to see it anymore. I guess it kind of depends on the release date. But like, I don't know what is it about this trailer that should be exciting me. I need you guys to give me some context here, because I see this, my eyes just glaze over.
So to give you when it's coming out in May. So in May you got The Fall Guy, you got this movie, you got If, Strangers Chapter 1, and Furiosa. So that's kind of what you're working with. So again, another run of like
a banger like summer season there.
Yeah, and I feel like you'll be with us on this one. I imagine, are you gonna see Cuckoo with Hunter Schafer? It's that horror movie.
Ooh, I haven't seen the trailer, but I'm down.
Yeah, it's only 30 seconds of. It's cool. I didn't include in here because we had lots of trailers, but we have that one image of her in a grocery store like hiding, and something's behind her. And the trailer is her standing at a doorway. She's looking onto a field that the town's over, and it's a radio control of like talking about like, oh, things are in like, you know, danger's happening over the radio, and it's her with a flip switch. What is it? Switchblade? Yeah, switchblade. Just doing that by her side, and that's all we get. So it's very like, hey.
To be honest, that's doing more for me than this. Did, so
Well, there you go. So I'll go the other side where I liked that first trailer, but I was like, okay, like probably maybe similar deal, maybe a little higher because like I love Apes. So I was like, okay, I'll give it some, and I want this to be good because again, this guy's doing Zelda, so I need this to. I need this at least to be a 7. At least to be a 7. If it's not, it's gonna break my heart. But and that's not even coming from me as like the biggest Zelda fan. I just like that's one that I feel like you gotta nail. So this trailer for me, I'm not sure where it's gonna go the whole movie. The thing that got me excited was the king villain ape, though. That to me looked like this is gonna be a really fun character. I love that. Okay, they've taken over, and we've talked about this so many times, but I kind of like right out the get go, this ape just seems like he's gonna be the bad guy. It's not gonna be like the hero turn fall. It's just like sometimes we've gotten so much the Thanos. Now every villain is becoming like, oh, he has to have like a heart or being good. I'm still down for just a despicable like villain. And even then, I like the approach of, hey, the humans used to be able to do these things. We need to do these things, right? And he is falling into the literal traps of what the humans did, right? Of taking slaves, wanting the power. So I like that parallel. And I think you're right, Dylan. It's looking like it's going to be more political, especially between the apes. You're seeing apes starting to divide because our main character, I don't know his name, but he's doing the other side, like what some other humans would go like, hey, we shouldn't be having these people as slaves or hurting them or killing them. So I like the divide, but for me, it was this villain character. Now I understood when they did that What a Lovely Day and it was just shot of him last year. I was like, okay, whatever. But I think this character is going to be really interesting and really fun. I got to find out which actor is portraying him. But so there's enough for me here where it's like some of these apes are not wanting to follow the same mistakes of humans, and other apes are doing the mistakes of humans, but not even knowing it because they just want this power. So I love the power struggle. I love the parallels to, what came before. And I'm really interested because I felt like with the other trilogy, we just knew like, Caesar was going in this. We knew like the apes had to rise. I'm not trying to say it was right, but like they had to rise, the humans had to fall, and Caesar eventually had to die because that's the story. With this and these characters that we don't know, that's what I'm really peculiar about to see where we go. So yeah, for me, it did the opposite. It got me really hyped, liking some of the visuals. Those apes on horses with these scary masks. So like, what's going on here? These gorillas looking frightening. So I was all for it. So I'm looking very forward to it now, and I hope there might be another trailer, but I don't need one now. That monkey ape, the villain, sold me.
Nice.
Taylor, where are you on the kingdom?
Oh, I am really, really excited for this. I think the trailer was it was nice to get more of like a story beat compared to what we got before. The other one was just, I felt like I was hyping everyone up, but this one, it just got me super, super jazzed. I'm really excited to see more of just I'm hoping we get to see at least more of the different clans of apes and just see more of this one that's just obsessed with this human technology. They got like the electro staffs and whatnot, which is super cool. And just hearing the narration at the start of them talking about evolution and humans and what humans are capable of doing, but like, you know what? It's our time now. And it just reminds you of just this downfall of, humans are great. They did all this stuff, but look where they're at. They're reduced to being just animals themselves, pretty much. I am starting to think, though, after we got a little bit better view of this female that in the narrative too that they're attacking. Go for it.
Which also I didn't know that's the girl who plays Ciri from the Witcher. I was trying to place it the whole time in the trailer. I'm like, she looks so familiar, but that's where she's from, so you probably know from that. And she also was in this movie in 2023 called Baghead. It was a horror film. The cover is a guy lifting like a bag scarecrow sack over his face. A young woman inherits a rundown pub and discovers a dark secret within the basement. Baghead, a shape-shifting creature that will let you speak to your lost loved ones, but not without consequence.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm checking out this movie because it looks like it could be shit, but I liked that one. But go ahead. So
Is she good as Ciri?
Yeah, she's good. I think she's one of the highlights of the show.
I just finished the 4th book. I'm still going through that. So.
Oh yeah.
And that was it was a Ciri heavy book for sure.
Yeah. I think she does
She was in it more
good
than
job.
Geralt was even. I would say.
That's how it starts. Even in the games, how it starts to go too. It's like, well, it's different because you play as Geralt, but the story becomes more about like how can Geralt help Ciri instead of about Geralt. So, and I think the show's probably going to do that too because with Henry Cavill leaving, I think they'll shift the lead to her. So it could be a big couple of years for her. Apes and leading Witcher.
Could be.
So I'm thinking, just seeing this female actress, that just the way that her clothing is compared to the other humans, and them talking about how she's smarter than them and whatnot. I'm thinking, okay, is she gonna be our astronaut character? Is that what they're pulling here?
They did infer that she was a lot smarter than the other humans, so you're
She's-
right.
This is hundreds of years after the last one, and just look at how she's dressed. She's dressed like a modern day human.
Oh, that would be something if they're because no one's supposed to land yet, but you can always say that's what happens with time travel, right? Is you change one thing and everything changes. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That'd be really interesting if the astronauts were already here. Oh,
I'm kind of thinking that's what it is. And then they're
You're
just
gonna
they don't ever
overhype
talk
me.
yet.
Storyline as someone who's not super deep in the lore. What's going
so the astronaut storyline is in the very first Planet of the Apes. Obviously, Charlton Heston, he lands. That sets up the spoilers for the movie. You don't know it, like jump, but it's 80 years old or whatever. He lands, thinks it's a monkey of apes, and then they reveal obviously it's been Earth the whole time. So then what happens is the rest of the movies are kind of a prequel because one of the apes take the spaceship and they leave Planet of the Apes because there's a nuclear bomb going to go off. There's a bunch of stuff that happens, and they leave and they land back on Earth. But when they land back on Earth, it's kind of like a monk or a chicken and egg scenario. They land back before those no, they don't actually. They don't land off before it's a time travel thing. It doesn't make much sense if you think about it because an astronaut lands. He gives the monkeys the ship and they go back to Earth. But when they go back to Earth, it's when the humans are still in power and the apes haven't taken over yet. But it's after that astronaut has taken off. But like we talked about on the retro, that there is like a scenario where there's kind of like a new timeline made, and that's what this could be. Because the idea is everyone's saying, oh, hey, eventually this has to get to the original Planet of the Apes, right? But Taylor, we talked about this on the retro that maybe it doesn't, because if this is like a new branch because something got messed up, that could be it. And this could be our, imagine if she's a female. Remember the one in the Planet of the Apes that just dies in the first scene?
Everyone
She
else
makes
dies
it this
and she
time?
lives.
Yeah, that'd be great. So eventually what happens, Dylan, in Planet of the Apes, that astronauts land, and that kind of creates a whole kind of ripple effect throughout the timeline because it's dealing with time travel and stuff. So but they're not supposed to come yet. They're supposed to come still the decades, maybe hundreds of years from now, and it looks like maybe
Is that like for sure that's what they were going to be working towards? Because I mean, I'm pretty sure we're dealing with Cornelius here already.
No, we're not.
Isn't that the main ape's name? Isn't he Cornelius?
No, he's not. It's like Noah. It's Noah. It's Noah. So that's why there's none of the original apes. That's why people have said like it's not that time yet. And I think technically from the timeline they've given from it's Caesar's death, post Caesar, it doesn't line up to when Taylor landed. So it's like kind of in the middle of that. But again, with time travel, you can just something change. One monkey sneezed and that changed everything.
That could change a lot. I'm trying to think when you had the Matt Reeves trilogy, before that came out, was that announced as a trilogy of movies or that they were gonna try and do that? Okay.
I think there was more of a belief that when they did 2, that 3 was pretty much a guarantee. But I think with Rise, it was let's see if the appetite's there, and then it was a success, so they kept going. But even in that first one, in Rise on the news, they show a video of of the astronauts leaving Earth. But that could be this female astronaut, right, Taylor? Because the timeline. So that could be that astronaut that left.
I mean, just look at her clothing. That's not
very
not
Mark
tribal
Wahlberg
clothing.
from 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone
you're
else
right.
is wearing everyone else is wearing the garb,
Fudge.
animal stuff, and she's wearing pants, tank top, she's an astronaut. I'm telling you.
And they didn't show her speak in the trailer too. That would be the big giveaway too. So, oh man,
I know. I think they're saving it.
Man, that's no. They're just gonna say no. Oh, now you got me too hyped. Watch her just be from some colony and she's just smart. But
I'm more interested now. I obviously don't know all this backstory. I'm gonna go on this retro, but even just hearing more about what goes on in these movies, like these older ones.
Oh,
wow,
you don't even know, man. There's superpowers get put in there. There's some good stuff and bad stuff. But I was gonna say though, the only thing that I wonder to go against that is, in the original Planet of the Apes, Taylor landing there. Taylor, for people that don't know, is also the name of the astronaut that Charlton Heston plays. He lands there, and it shows the monkeys that, okay, humans could speak, and they had thought, and they had all this power before, and we've been lied to. Clearly, a lot of the apes know that the humans had power before, right? So that's why I'm wondering, would the astronaut landing shift any dynamics right now? Because they knew, hey, we used to be in cages. They had all this, like he says, they could fly like eagles. So what would it change, though, the astronauts landing right now? Because they know humans were smart.
Let me see if I can recall this. Because, there you have so many different landmarks and so many different pieces of evidence of humanity. And then this character, which I'm assuming, I'm pretty confident that he is
Her name's
the
May.
lawgiver. The
that
lawgiver
one.
is the same character, which actually we're going to meet him in War or Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, the next retro we do for that. Basically, he's
Battle
that-
4. Battle.
Oh, Battle 4, thank you. Yeah. So, um, it's tricky and kind of convoluted how they're portraying this story, because I feel like, well, yes, the lawgiver is the one narrating and he's talking about how evolution and humanity was all this different stuff, but then you don't really see the other apes engaging in that and talking about it. And I'm wondering,
True.
could we get a scenario where lawgiver is telling our character like about something that happened in the past, and this happened like, you know, a few hundred years ago or something along those lines. But you also have lawgiver, and then not just lawgiver, but Nora. That's what you said the apes.
Noah
name
is
was?
the main
Noah.
one. Yeah.
So you have Noah also talking about how like discovering the truth and trying to figure some things out. So I mean, like it seems like the truth is definitely kept under the under wraps, and even more so with the fact like, why are they so interested in this girl? She's more smarter than the other humans. Humans exist in this world for sure, but this woman is much more intelligent. Okay, why are they trying to hunt her? And the king, like whatever his
Proximus
name was,
Caesar is the king's
Proximus
name, played by
Caesar. Fuck,
Kevin
that's cool.
Durant, who is a known actor, so he's good. But yeah, Proximus
That's
Caesar.
cool name. So
Yeah.
even he's talking. I think he says something too, because they say like apes kill humans or apes hunt humans. Shouldn't be like apes together strong. Apes need to change, and he's like, no, we need to snuff this. So yeah.
Lots of stuff moving around. Superman Mike says his levels at 110%. Intrigued to see how they incorporate the legacy of Caesar and how it'll be twisted and corrupted by this king, which happens. That's all Planet of the Apes, right? Is they take just Caesar just becomes like anything they could. Very much what I'm sure people view God as, right? Or some people view God or the Bible twisted in many ways, however you want to take it. That's what the apes do with Caesar. They just take his legacy and like, oh, he meant this and he meant this. It's like, they probably don't refer to him being raised by humans and all this stuff. They just take it as like, oh, ape don't kill it, and we hate the humans, you know? So, yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. All right, let's take our probably last ad break, then we'll be back with some more trailers. And we're back. So, Wicked. Any thoughts on Wicked, Mr. Muss? You got any? What's your just history with Wizard of Oz?
Oh my god! So me and Muds went on a walk earlier today, and I was telling her about what trailers had come out, and we were going to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
And we could not remember what the Wizard of Oz was. We were like, man, we know what the movie is. We know Yellow Brick Road, the Wicked Witch. We could not think of the name. It was like really tripping us
That's
out.
fair.
We never did remember what it was. So now that it's back, that's good to have that back in my mind here. But yeah, I remember watching the movie a lot as a kid. It was one of those like favorites in my household for whatever reason. Classic Dylan fashion. Not one I ever revisited, so I haven't watched it in a million years. But I didn't really know anything about this trailer going in, but I thought this looked really cool. I like the setting of it. I think the world building element potentially is my favorite thing here, where it's, you know, steampunk would be the aesthetic, and steampunk is really compelling because it is kind of that mix between fantasy and sci-fi, right? Like finding that in between.
Yeah.
And the way in which this trailer and like establishing this world as being that real midpoint of those two things is really engaging to me. Like you had like that green train that looked really cool. You have like this giant like steampunk machine face thing. Just all the tech I thought was really cool in this city. So I don't really know if I have much to say on like the story, and there was nothing really there or the characters that stood out to me in a big way, but just the world building element alone seemed really compelling. So I was kind of surprised. I came out of this being like, I kind of want to watch this at some point. Am I going to go to the theaters for it? I don't know, but I'm intrigued after this.
You liked Wonka, and don't forget this is another musical that they're hiding, so you could like
There you
this.
go. I mean, maybe that's my new pocket, just fantasy adjacent hidden musicals. That's maybe my new favorite genre.
That are prequels as well. This is a prequel about the witches and how they split off or something like that. So
Damn, that too. My
Yep.
God, there's a lot of connectivity here.
big pocket
Crazy.
for you, yeah. No, I was the same. I really have no. So I have a weird like I I like Wizard of Oz. I definitely understand why it's so big and like one of the most classic films because it did a lot of things, right? So I haven't watched it in a good minute, but it's not one I have to go back to a lot. The one I really like, and I see S Bubs in the chat, we've bonded over. I absolutely love Oz the Great and Powerful. That Sam Raimi directed a couple of years ago. I went through. Emily gave me so much shit. I went through like a couple months span of anytime I was going to bed, that was the movie I put on. I actually fell asleep to last night, but I just kept rewatching this movie over and over. I don't do that so much. There was a time, Taylor, you might appreciate this, where I just watched like I Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, like for months on end. Like I used to just have a movie. That's why when people say, "Oh, you've seen The Dark Knight 100 times," I confidently say like, "Yes." I would just put it on and it would just play in the house for a month, and I'd be like, "Oh, this part." So I like the world and the concept, and there's something about this. I'm not sold on Grande yet as an actress from what I've seen in the few little things like Scream Queens and stuff. Seems like she might be a little wooden, but everyone else around her is good. I like the world for the most part. Yeah, there's a lot of CGI, but and I guess because people were comparing to the Raimi one, that I agree the Raimi one looked like it had a bit more color, but this is just like a certain this is a certain look. Like I understand why some people might look at the trailer and not like the CGI type of coloring it has, but it's not enough to take me out of it or dislike it. I'll have to wait till I see the actual movie, and I'll actually have to wait and see. I don't know if this is one I will see in theaters because it is a musical, and that is always like a stop point for me. And they are hiding it again because it's at the end there where they sing a little bit, but this got me somewhat intrigued, and I think maybe I just got to return to that original Wizard of Oz, and maybe I'm just a bigger fan of that world than I give it credit for, because there just seems that I like that I gleam towards. So yeah, and I guess I know that there's a whole play about that. I've never thought of like why these two witches start this rivalry, but sure, I'm down to see what's going on. And this is the other thing. I did not know at all that Jeff Goldblum was playing the wizard. Holy shit. That's like
That's fun.
that's really fun. Like that's like perfect casting of like the con artist who tricks everybody. Like when I saw that, my hype, maybe it was just Goldblum alone got my hype up. So I'm looking really forward to that. So Mr. Field, what about you?
Yeah, I just like you, Dylan. I grew up watching this movie. It was just one of those staples. I've a Halloween where my dad dressed up as the Wicked Witch of the West. He like full on 100% spot on. And it's ironic because you tell me that when he was little, that character used to terrify him, and the monkeys too. But it's just such a great film. I need to rewatch it. And Oz the Great and Powerful, I enjoyed going to that world. I really liked how colorful it was and just seeing how they tackled kind of a little bit more of the backstory of the characters. But I love the OG. I feel like it's wonderful. I love Scarecrow. He's definitely
What about the
my
return to Oz or the Wiz?
I think I've seen the thumbnails for that. Never got. Oh god.
Apparently, Return to Oz is like a really fucked up, scary movie. Like maybe made like unintentionally, and I've actually never seen The Wiz, despite me being a big Michael Jackson fan of his music specifically. Never seen The Wiz, but I hear good things.
This looks pretty interesting, actually, and I feel like it's just to see the certain sequences in this trailer. It just seemed like a visual spectacle, and I'm kind of like jiving with it, and I kind of want to give it a go. I didn't have really any hype before. I know it's a play, right? It's like a
yes, very
play.
Broadway, very famous Broadway play. Yeah.
So I did not have any interest at all beforehand. I know I heard it was being adapted, but I wasn't keen on it. Seeing the trailer, it's definitely motivated me enough to want to buy a ticket and put me into a theater seat. So,
well, look at that. All right, and finally for the trailers, Knuckles. Taylor, I'll let you start with Knuckles.
Oh man, this is really speaking my language. I was caught off guard when they announced the Knuckles show a long time ago. It definitely like makes you think like, what the heck? But here we are. We got the trailer, and the humor is up my alley. When you get that very seriousness that Knuckles is as a character, and you have just the innocent humor. I was just surrounded. I watched the trailer like the day that it dropped, so I can't remember any specific humorous moments. And I wish I could. I should have rewatched it, but
You watched Deadpool 100 times, but you couldn't.
I watched Deadpool. Yeah,
Second one.
that wig. But yeah, it's just the there's certain things that Knuckles does just by portraying this blunt ignorance to the situation and just totally devoid of how fragile certain humans could be in these
You like
situations.
those characters. That's
I
a Taylor
do.
go-to.
I do. It is. And so I like the idea of just kind of like touching back down on Robotnik, having the guy that worked for him and just the tech and just going to town with Knuckles. It just looks like it's going to be a really fun show. I'm so on board for it. And I'm glad that we're getting it soon. And I think it's going to be a great setup for Sonic 3. I think that a lot of kids are probably going to be excited when they watch the show and just like jiving with it. And the parents, this is something for the parents too, because the parents will watch the show at home with the kids and they'll probably think, yeah, okay, yeah, let's go see Sonic 3. Yeah, so I'm all for anything that's gonna help put some extra dollars in my draft pick this year.
Right. I forgot that's why you're pulling for that.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't dislike it. I'll say it was above average of what I thought it was going to be. It didn't look painful. I think there's some instances in the movies that the Sonic movies can be painful, but maybe I'm just going to enjoy the Knuckles character more. I think with having Idris Elba's voice there in some of those situations, I think a lot of these human characters are going to annoy the shit out of me though. So that's what's really annoying. And that just happens all the time. So I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think me being on the reviews like a 50-50. It all depends when I watch it because the kids like Sonic, so I'll watch it then. But yeah, it seemed like there could be something there. I'll say like what Aspa said, I'm surprised how much of like Sonic and Tails and stuff in it. So I like that's not just kind of like, well, let's just do some with Knuckles, have them do something off the side. It looks like it is pretty connected to the world if you like that already, and I'm sure kids will. So yeah, I can't say I enjoyed it, but I didn't like, oh, this looks awful. So somewhere, like I said, in the middle for me. So
Nice. Yeah, I don't think I have much to add here. I'm not a Sonic guy. I haven't seen any of those movies. This didn't sell me to want to watch the show. I think it's, for the people who are into this, I think it's a really good trailer. I think the effects look all great, which you wonder how that'd be in a TV show where they have more, I don't know, more screen time overall, but maybe less budget, how that's going to work out. But it seems like it looks solid. Characters seem like they're, for that audience, going to be great. The humor's all there,
yes,
the action, all that. But it's just not my bag. So I'm happy for you all that are getting this this show and this universe in a third movie. You're just getting all this content. It's awesome. So
yeah, they're tripling down on the Sonic. It's working out for them. So yeah, this comes out April 26th. It's a classic 6-episode event. You know, pulling the Disney card there. So yeah, at least Taylor and Kirkland will be reviewing those. Of course, it's on the fucking Friday, so it's. I'm not sure if you've seen the schedule, Taylor. I did update for you in Kirkland. This is looking like a.
Did Kirkland agree? I went
Kirkland, he's the Sonic guy. There's no way, like, I don't know. That'd be like me missing like the Wolverine show or something. And even if it was like Wolverine part, like, there's no way he's not.
I thought
doing
he'd be there
Knuckles.
for Halo, but you know he's.
Well,
a
I
wild
told you he
card.
wouldn't be there for Halo and stuff. Cause, I'll be back. But like, because like the problem is Halo or Fallout and Knuckles are like together. Like we're getting Faults on the Thursday, the Knuckles on the Friday, and that has to do with like, I don't know if anyone's seen Civil War, but like Fall Guys out the same time and Strangers Chapter 1. So there's gonna be some Furiosa's out episode 5 of Knuckles, so there's gonna have to be some juggling done by you two if you guys are doing that. So I put it in the calendar, but yeah, it's a stacked little April March there. So
Fuck, that is what does he say? Conundrum.
It is a conundrum.
That's a bad fucking
I
voice.
imagine these episodes are going to be like, what, like 30 minutes each?
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
6 episodes, right?
They have to. They're probably pretty short, so you might be okay. Watch them just be the longest show, hour and a half each, just like that John Wick series, whatever it was.
That's
2-hour
pretty demanding.
episodes, yeah. All right, let's. So trailers are done. Let's quickly talk about just some news items here. So I'm gonna quick hit you. We got 2 Predator films have been announced. They're working on a Prey 2 that's a direct sequel, but there's been some debate of like, does that mean with the same characters? Does that just mean with the world? I don't know. I think because we're getting another film that's taking place in a different time with a different name, I think it's saying Prey 2 to me is signifying it's from the era, but they're doing Prey 2. And then Dan Trachtenberg is doing a movie called Badlands, which is another Predator one set in the near future. We also talked about this in the Discord, where if you look up the term Badlands, that does mean post-apocalyptic. And I think that's maybe the route. Like, I think that's like Prey, where you can save on budget, where you put people in a desert and say, hey, you know, like, It's oh,
This is San Francisco now.
yeah, all into shit, and there's a predator here. So you got that. Tom Cruise is rumored to be talking with Quentin Tarantino to have a role in his last film. And then nothing too big, but the director dropped. David Leitch, we talked about this last newscast, us three. Those talks with Jurassic Park are dead. It looked like they have created differences, and the rumor is that they're just looking for a shooter, which means that they have a script, they have a story, they just want someone to come in, shoot it, and be done, and they're trying to hit that date. But right now, they still don't have a director trying to hit that
so
July.
Creatively inspiring.
Yeah, and you start off, Dylan. Yeah, what do you think about any of those three stories there?
Jurassic World, okay, cool. Like, we'll see what happens there.
Not excited by just someone being told just get in there and shoot it,
Yeah, I mean, who cares then who they pick as the director? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter at this point. Hopefully it's a good thing. Hopefully it's like, well, we have the perfect movie. You just need someone who is good behind a camera, I guess.
Right? Feige's done that many times in the MCU. Like, hey, this is a story, whatnot. Like, just shoot it, So
it could work out better, but yeah, until I don't know, it's not too exciting. Tom Cruise. Honestly, you could take my least favorite actor and tell me they're in a Tarantino movie, and I would be excited to see
Jared Leto.
that done. Yeah, I would be down. That would be probably my favorite Leto performance. I'd probably be like, damn, he actually has good acting chops. If Tarantino wrote this script, oftentimes seems like he writes these scripts with certain actors in mind. Like, that would excite me. And so Tom Cruise, that would be really cool and kind of off the wall of a pick, I think. So I'd be down for that. I just want to see the pairing. I want to see who his character is close with in this movie.
Yeah, Pitt is rumored to be in this movie as well, so that kind of makes sense. But
that's a classic duo there. What's that? They've done 2 other ones together, or is it 3 now that I'm forgetting a third?
Pitt, they
Glorious
did.
Bastards in Hollywood. Is there a third one?
No, I think this would be the third. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Cruise and Pitt. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know about that. They did one movie back in the 90s together, but what if they got the guy who did You're Stuck With Me Now, partner from Mandalorian?
Oh,
boy.
See, like
Toro.
I would
Toro.
be, I don't know if I would be excited for that, but I'm sure when he pops up in the movie, I'd be like, that was a fun character. I like that character in that role. Like, he's just that good at writing and directing that. Put whoever in there. I'm sure it's gonna be a good job. And then the Prey, I really liked Prey, so I'm very excited to get a sequel. I hope it is pretty close. Like, I would love to get Amber in there again and some other crew in some way. And then Badlands, like, I'm kind of into that idea too. I'm not really. I mean, if you go back to that review, I don't really know much about Predator as a series or a character, so I don't know what that would really mean for the universe of it. But that setting does seem to make a lot of sense, and I like a good post-apocalyptic story. So I'm kind of down for both those things. Do you guys think that Prey 2 would also be straight to streaming, or after the success, would they maybe try and bump it out theatrical again, or is that maybe what Badlands would be?
Yeah, that's what's tough. I feel like because they did them together, it's like, Badlands will be theatrical, but this Prey 2, that'll be. I hope not. What I hope is they do with what they're doing with Dune right now. I know that's still theatrical, but I would love it if they had Prey re-release in theaters, because I think we all said that of like, this would have been a good theater, and then do Prey 2. So again, it could just be Prey semicolon, so then people don't have any. They're like, it's just some movie, but if I had to guess, I think it's that way, but I'm hoping not. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping they're both theatrical, because I feel like as long as you keep that budget down, Prey, I don't know. I'd love to see it in that scope of a viewing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think I quick hit all your things. Was there one I missed there?
No, that's it. Nice. Taylor, what about Dylan's question there?
I mean, I could see that it could maybe come back as like a double feature. Like, you get the first one and the second one.
I didn't think he was going to get there. I thought it was over.
This fucking guy. Maybe like Apes style, where you got like the first 2 and then they drop the third one or something like that. But I don't know. As much as I would want it, I feel like that ship has sailed. I feel like they'll focus on the new 2 ones that they're doing and be like, go subscribe, get us more subscriptions to Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start with Predator. I am absolutely flabbergasted they're doubling down on 2 films. This is absolutely incredible. I'm very much intrigued to see more of what happens with Prey, whether that is a direct follow-up or it's a little bit after. I just know that end credits scene, seeing all those ships arrive. I want to see I want to see a bunch of predators. That's what I need to see that on screen. I need to see a bunch of
No
predators.
one clip that, please.
Please, yes, don't do that. On top of that, getting a second Predator film titled Badlands. That is crazy. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was confused at first by how it was shared in the Discord because I was thinking, is this like a movie for that show Into the Badlands that was on AMC? And you guys are talking about it. I'm like, oh, and then finally I was like, oh
The
no.
article said 2 new Predator films.
I know,
don't
but it was
how
like-
you're confused.
I got confused.
And my favorite quote about when I told Taylor like my pitch of I think it might be post-apocalyptic is like, I just don't know if that. I think that might break the rules of the world. And I'm just
I
like,
didn't say rules of the
what
world.
did you
That's
said
deep.
something even worse of like this is
In
a
Discord,
Doesn't
and-
seem very realistic. Or something
yeah.
like that.
You're like, I don't think that's really realistic. It's like we live in a world where in the Predator world, these are aliens that just land on planet Earth to hunt for sport. There's planets, multiple colonies. Like the Earth becoming apocalyptic after he just saw Oppenheimer, his favorite movie, knowing one nuclear war, we're all fucked. Him like, I don't know if this is that realistic. It just took me off guard of like, really?
I'm interested in the fact that they do something kind of in the near future, and deserty Badlands. My initial pitch was like, man, that would be so cool. And you're right, they probably wouldn't sell any tickets, but the fact that Badlands, what do you find in Badlands? Tons of dinosaur fossils, and if they call it Badlands, that'd be so neat to get
No.
something like that.
That's not what I said. I didn't say they wouldn't sell any tickets. I think it's just like your pitch of the problem. The reason the Predator went away for a little bit is because they were making these big budget movies and they weren't meeting the budget. You're pitching, let's go to the home world with thousands of predators. Let's see the Predator fight dinosaurs. I'm all down for that. But if you want more predators, I think it's good for them to do these things like Prey, where it's the Predator with a bunch of real world stuff. So you don't like that budget stays very compact. Same way Prey 2, same thing this. If it's just a if it's, in Blade Runner 2049, Ryan Gosling's in that sand planet looking for Harrison Ford, or that sand part, just you put the Predator there, done, or like John Wick when he's on the horse in chapter 4. Like, I think that's where maybe eventually you get that, but I think that's how the Predator stays successful, is you keep these at like a nice tight budget. So you don't, if you do
fair.
Predator versus a T-Rex, you got to ask a lot more people to show up to see that movie,
That would be fucking glorious.
Which I agree with you. If they're big game hunters, why wouldn't they land on at that time and fight some raptors?
You do see at some point when we do our certain retro later on, you do see dinosaur skulls with predators in a certain setting, which is very hype. But
that would be cool.
I would accept the cutback of like the lower budget, no thousands of predators, no dinosaurs fighting predators. I would take in exchange of that. Give me another scene where a predator teams up with the human. I love that stuff. I eat that shit up every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm fucking down.
All right.
Next topic, Jurassic Park. Yeah, you know what?
Like-
Yeah.
Because you're hyped. I keep your name last week was July 2025, and I guess I know what you're gonna say. It's just like, oh hey, like as long as the scripts, we're gonna land there in July. Grab your gear, boys. Let's huddle. Yeah, in July, in the can codes. I know you want to hit the date, and I'm sure you're just going to counter with, oh, the script's great, whatever. But does it not concern you at all where I know we disagree where, hey, David Leitch might not be the greatest choice, but the fact that it's creative differences to me worries. I hope it is just like, oh, he wanted to maybe be a bit more slapsticky, but this idea of, oh, creative differences and now, oh, they're looking for a shooter. Don't you also want them to like not just try and hit a date? Like, doesn't that concern you at all to be like, they're just trying to be like, they just want someone to come in and sign the deal and be like, okay, I'll do this movie, which does can work if the script is good, of course, but like they don't need to hit July 2025. Like, I think people still see a dinosaur movie in 2026,
I'd prefer 2025. That's me personally.
I tried. Whatever.
Now, just to get a director in there, just go point and shoot. It's that's
We're right
one way of
here.
doing it. Yeah,
we're right here. We're ready to go.
I can appreciate directors putting their spin on a project and giving their creative experience as well implemented into a project. We're dealing with actors and actresses and whatnot. That was something that I think plagued the Assassin's Creed film from getting made for a long time, was because
Always comes back.
Ubisoft wanted creative control, and the directors that they kept having bring in were having issues with them because it was a wall, just creative differences. With this, I do have a lot of faith that script is going to be pretty set, pretty well off, and I mean, that's only based off of just the first two Jurassic films. But again, if you look at how well those ones are in comparison to the rest, I like those odds. So that's what I'm going to be banking on. And if they just need someone to just steer the direction of that script, then sure, someone that can work well with the cast members, that can really bring out those emotional sequences, those scary sequences, action sequences, then sure.
Action was listed, and that's why more that came in this report is that it is supposed to be smaller scale and more action oriented. So that's probably why they went to Leech, because he has
small scale and action oriented.
Yeah, so I almost take that as like maybe Prey-ish of like company versus a dinosaur, a couple dinosaurs, like something like that. Maybe where it's not, we need to stop these.
Let's get
10,000
Dan in there.
T-Rex.
They'll hire him.
Dan Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
Maybe rather than like big CGI dinos, they just have people in like those Velociraptor suits. That's what they call it, smaller scale.
I don't think
Yikes.
so. Maybe, but oh, we saved a lot on this budget. Just wait till you see the dailies and you just see it.
They can just CGI the eyes like Deadpool, and they're good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And you probably got no thoughts on Tom Cruise, right? We talked about this beginning. You haven't seen a Tarantino film other than Django, right?
And you hate Tom Cruise, right? He's
Yeah,
your
you hate Tom Cruise.
bottom
So
tier.
Tom Cruise is in the next Tarantino
It's a rumor.
that's
It's a rumor
that's the
because
rumor.
he was talked about for the last film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that didn't work out. But I think this is the
For
last
Leo
one.
or Brad Pitt's role.
That's what wasn't known. It was just talk about the three. So at one point he was talking about one of those roles. I would assume Leo's role, but I would also know what I don't. But I'd also see Tom wanting not to do Leo's role because, like, does he want to make himself look that kind of goofy? I don't know. I know
Well, he didn't do the role.
that's what I mean, though, right? Like, I feel like maybe it was like I want to do the Brad role, and Tarantino's like, but like I want you to do because
Yeah,
I think he would.
feel like Tom Cruise, like he will not do anything but be the main star in a movie.
That's another thing, right? Yeah, and that could have been it. So, and this one, same thing. It doesn't sound like he would be the main star in this, but I bet because it's his last movie, that's the way to like twist Tom's arm to be like, hey, we haven't worked together, and let's do it. Come on, man, fuck.
Like, I'd be inclined to see it. Like, I'm interested.
Are you?
There's so many Tarantino films I haven't seen. Again, another reason why I missed out on that retro. I have only seen Inglourious Bastards,
Right.
Django Unchained, and Hateful Eight. Those are the only.
You weren't
three
on
I've
Glorious
seen.
Bastards either. I thought you snuck your way onto one of those Tarantino.
No, that's what we were talking
movies.
about earlier. I pulled up the
I
video. I
know.
wasn't on Inglourious Bastards.
Or was it Django though? I thought you were on. I
Or
said
Django. Oh yeah, Django. Sorry, Django earlier. I wasn't on either of them.
Okay.
So you did fact check this that you weren't?
I fact checked. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this
But maybe
was-
I'll
Maybe
be
you
here.
were on
I'll be
Jackie
here for this one.
Brown.
I don't
This
think
is-
I was on Jackie
This
Brown.
is supposed to be a movie about a movie critic. It's a person that was a porn critic that turns into a movie critic, and yeah, there's rumors that Leo might actually reprise his role as Rick Dalton too, in that world.
I'll have to watch that then.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Is that a troll based on your little smirk? I don't know if you're trolling.
No, I just think that's really funny because there's just rumors that he's going to be doing lots of like. You remember the moment when he like replaced Leo with Steve McQueen or other way around? He's like, "Oh, I almost got that role," and they show the scene of that movie, but they put Leo in it instead. Sounds like he's going to be doing a lot of that with different things going on. So.
Okay.
And also, Sam, forgive me. I forgot to throw this in, and we'll answer this right now. He asked a Patreon question about Deadpool. He asked, what percentage do you think Deadpool's going to be making fun of the MCU's like struggles right now? I don't think too high, because I think he'll make fun of the MCU in other ways, just because they also don't want to seem as like, this is an MCU movie now, so I don't think they want to kick down on it. So I feel like any jokes that would have made fun about the MCU would be stuff that's already known, like She-Hulk when it was like, oh, these finales suck, eh? Like, I don't think it'll be anything like, man, the Marvels really bombed. Like, I don't think they'll go that far.
I think at most what you get is he's making jokes. I mean, he kind of already is in the trailer of like saving the universe.
Yes.
You know, but that's not but I don't even think it's going to be with that intention. It'll just now.
He would have
like,
done that
a new
already.
meaning. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that they would really do that kind of joke. I don't even think Ryan Reynolds would want to, let alone like Disney not allowing that kind of thing. But yeah, I think pretty unlikely. But there could be some jokes that maybe border on that line in some way. Could have some good double meaning nowadays.
Yeah. Taylor, what do you think? You think they're going to be?
He's going to shit talk the CGI in Quantumania.
Yeah.
I think non-Disney Deadpool would. I think this Deadpool Disney is not going to. I think that's like one of the stretch limits was the them talking at in the beginning of the trailer when he's like getting reamed or whatever. I can't
Pegging,
remember.
not reamed.
Pegging. You know,
Reaming,
loads
new to Disney. Reaming.
to wads, same thing.
I also kind of feel like with a joke like that, let's say Deadpool's huge, and then like the next 3 or 4 MCU movies are huge, and like the MCU's back in a really good place. Like then they just did this joke, which like doesn't really even mean it anymore, and people watching it 5 years from now are like, "What does that joke even mean?" You know, like I don't think they would do something like that. Personally.
That's fair. Yeah.
Unless he has to like title it right, like specifically like label Ant-Man Quantumania, and then people will be like, "What does this joke mean?" They watch the movie like, "Oh, I fucking get it. Oh my goodness."
But then that's assuming a lot. That's assuming like let's
is.
reshoot. Let's film this scene after Quantumania has been
Yeah.
out. But then like they have to reshoot it because then the major stuff happens. Like
I was going to say, plus,
yeah.
they're never going to mention Ant-Man 3 ever again. Like that is like, I think worse than Thor Dark World that I don't think they'll ever go back to. It's more like we've said, it's like the Incredible Hulk where it's just going to be this thing that happened and we don't talk about it, you know? So Sam said, Tom isn't digging the creative brother. And that's the thing with Cruise. That's where I like these rumors of it being a small role. Because I think that's what I agree with Dylan that if it's something, a big juicy role, it has to be the main one. But I could also see, hey, I can write you a small role that we curate together. Like Tarantino be like, hey, what would be something fun for you to play? Like a Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder, where you know have some fun with it, but you don't have to, you know, whether it's not damage your brand, but just like I think Tom does a very specific set. That's why he works with like the same directors all the time because he has a certain specific skills. Like he's a different type of cat. We all know this, right? For many reasons. So I feel like him having a smaller role, because I just feel like him having a large role in Tarantino thing, unless they absolutely clicked, I think could just lead to like disaster. I think both those guys have very big egos and feel very highly of themselves. And if they were to disagree with each other, because Tom's like, that's the rumor. People, of course, are directing these films, but it's also like Tom is a director on these films too. I don't think that happens on a Tarantino set where.
Definitely not. You read the word. Or you go home.
Yeah. So that's where I think a small role, that's perfect of him playing like, and I bet QT could go to be like, hey, if I'm making this movie about classic Hollywood, who's like a classic Hollywood figure you would like to play? And you're like, oh, I've always like had an affinity for blank, right? So I hope it happens. I hope we get the all-star lineup if it is his last movie, which I think is done. But if it is, I hope we get everyone: Jackson, Waltz, Leo, Pitt, him. We get Uma Thurman back. Like I want Travolta for sure. If Travolta's not in this, I'll be really disappointed. I want everybody that those top-tier people to be coming back. So what are you looking at, Taylor? I feel like
I'm just saying, could you imagine this?
yeah, the dialogue. Tarantino directs Jurassic World. Yeah, that's my point. Where I think this gave me. I know David Coop is like a great writer. I know Clay always said, oh, he's genius, so he trusts him. It just, for me, it's kind of like what Dylan said, where I just go, oh man, that's disappointing. Of like, if those rumors are true, they're just looking for a shooter. I get that, but that happens a lot in the MCU where there's certain movies where, oh, they just got anybody to shoot this and there's no style. And that to me just means they just want to hit a quota, hit a date, get some money going and start a new franchise trilogy. And that kind of sucks. To me, like I said, I think people will wait. And I do think eventually, if you make these films not good, it will be like Transformers, where enough bad films hurt that box office and people stopped coming. And I think Jurassic World will eventually get there if this happens. So who knows? Maybe the script is great and we'll see. And I get why David Leitch, because to me, like we talked about last week with Bullet Train and stuff, it's like I get why there would have been creative differences, because I just feel like his Jurassic World would have been a bit more humorous. But even then, if he didn't, I don't look at that guy as like a shooter. So we'll see. And then the Predator stuff, yeah. If we get a post-apocalyptic one, That's great. It's a fun. You can play off. I don't know what took them out. The Predators. Maybe that's easy hunting ground for them. I don't know. Like I said, I think it could be easy on the budget. I just like that we're getting multiple ones. I do agree, but I think that's what it is. Where I'd love it if we get a Predator that's just in different eras and everything. But this is kind of like that, right? If we get Prey and then we're back in that era and then Badlands and somewhere in the future, I think that's really cool. And I like I like the kind of not simple stupid, but simple and effective, maybe I'll say, like the method they're taking with Predator. And that makes me really curious of what the Alien movie is going to be like in the summer, right? Because that's going theatrical. So I'm wondering if that's a very similar thing where it's very low key, very small, but it has Alien. So I'm looking very forward to this because I felt like when they bought them, we were maybe going to see Alien Predator take a break for quite a while, and that's the exact opposite. So
I thought Shane Black. I was confident that he killed Predator.
I thought so
it's
too.
fucking done. But here we are. We're gonna be 3 films later. Like
yeah, the Predator.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I thought the Predator was it. I thought that was the nail in the coffin, and it's like even Covenant too, right? For me, I was like, oh man, Covenant. Like those were some bad movies to bounce off of, and we're here. We got a new Alien. We're getting Alien Show. We're getting 2 Predator movies, the 3rd one, I guess. So I'm really excited. And I like Dan Trachtenberg. It's great he's come back. I like that he's directing one. I don't think they've said he's directing Prey 2, but it sounds like he's producing. I like 10 Cloverfield Lane. I like that he's becoming like the little head of Predator world, of like he's gonna be shepherding that. So
Predator
Did he do
world.
Prey 1 first one?
he did the first Prey, yeah, and then he's doing Badlands. It just hasn't been said if he's doing 2. I doubt it with them announcing them like that together. I just feel like
It's
them
just
announce.
weird that he would not do Prey 2 when you get some other guy to do Badlands.
I guess maybe they could have had the pitch of, hey, he wants to do something different, but they really like the success of Prey, so maybe he didn't want to he maybe doesn't feel like there's a story there, but he's happy to produce it. Where if he has this idea for Badlands, and that's just me theorizing, not conspiring, theorizing. Maybe he's doing both. I just thought because they announced 2 that maybe that might be a lot for a guy to do Badlands and then go do Prey 2. But who knows? Maybe that's what he wants. He just wants to do Predator films the rest of his life.
Do it.
Yeah,
You can do it.
we'll find out. So. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We'll maybe be back. I don't know, because I forgot to mention at the beginning, we got Madam Web. That'll be on Wednesday. I think next week there'll be... Let's see what is going on. I don't think there'll be a newscast unless something big breaks, because next week we got we got a couple retros to record. You guys got Halo, and then Kirkland and Taylor have Last Airbender. We got DCU Golden Geek. So yeah, unless something massive breaks, I don't think we'll do a cast. I might throw Travis Told You in there, so that might cover some news. So might be it for a little while. So make sure you head over to Patreon, start voting on those Golden Geeks and everything like that. And thank you very much for tuning in. And I promise when you hear from us next, it will not